everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay, oh, yay. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you guys so much for joining us again this week for our 42nd episode.
That's crazy.
It feels, that
feels
it's gone
so
by
good.
very fast.
We are 10 weeks shy of 1 year.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I
10
love
weeks
it.
shy of 1 year.
I love it.
Thank you guys for sticking with us, the ones who have been there since the beginning or joined us whenever. New listeners, welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us
New
this
listeners,
week.
New fucking sponsors,
it's
new
good.
everybody.
Yeah, new sponsor for you this week.
Gorgeous.
We love it. We're having a good time here. We're enjoying it. Really hope you enjoyed last week's episode, obviously.
I'm so glad we covered him.
What?
Butler's a fucking nightmare.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's a guy.
How does that not make you feel better about your own life, though?
Oh, it makes you feel better about your own life in multiple ways.
Even if you didn't make it in professional sports anywhere, you're not a piece of shit.
That's the thing.
You're not that much of a piece of shit.
No, I haven't beat a true friend to death with a hammer recently for no reason at all.
Which is ironically your own nickname. That's amazing.
That's the thing. Did he do that on purpose? That's what we have to wonder.
I think he did.
In a home, there are plenty of blunt objects. Just looking around right now, in this room, in this studio, it's not even in a living room or anything.
There's a cricket bat right
There's
there.
a cricket bat. I could cave your head in with that. I have a computer monitor. I could do some damage with that probably. There's many heavy objects. I could just hit you with the desktop I have down here. My laptop would get you good. Anything.
Fucking anything.
Anything. Yeah, there's a recording equipment I could beat you with.
There's a microphone. There's
literally
all kinds of shit.
Tons of things. And if you're in a home, just a million things to beat someone with. There's knives too.
That's the other thing. He didn't even take something that would do it fast.
I feel like he chose the hammer. I feel like he was like, let me grab this knife. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Wait. Now, if you want to, that's where I think he wanted to get caught.
Yeah.
Because if you wanted to, push suspicion away from you, don't use the one weapon that's your goddamn nickname publicly.
He opened up that junk drawer that everybody's got, and they're sitting glistening in that fluorescent light of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Was the hammer, and he goes, no fucking way.
Do you think maybe...
How perfect is this?
Do you think maybe he thought that they'll never believe that I would be that stupid to use the hammer since I'm the hammer?
He did take the car and drive it to exactly where he was waiting.
That's true. Yeah, he's just an idiot,
he's
maybe.
Just dumb as shit.
He's just dumb. All right. Got crime and sports verdict. James Butler's an idiot.
He's fucking dumb.
Moving on. Moving on to this week's pile of human dumpster fire. This week's, my God, this guy, Jesus Christ, Jimmie, this guy here, I mean, I had never heard of this guy, first of all. Never heard of him as an NFL player. And it's odd that I probably know my NFL history pretty well. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Yeah. And I'm looking into it, and I'm like, what a horrible human being this guy is. He's a complete and utter piece of shit.
He's right up our alley.
He is Art Schleister and Lenny Dykstra. They get together and have like a mutant offspring that then sort of kind of has like a Willie Mays Aikens fatalism without the crack. We'll say that. No dirt floor, but I feel like he's got that kind of just nothing good can happen type of thing, and he does it to himself every time.
Just all on the horizon is horse shit.
It's horse shit. This is alleged bullshit all the way through. And it's real bullshit, too.
I can't wait.
Wow. Our subject tonight is Russell... I got to pronounce this right because it's a terrible, terrible last name.
There's
Jesus.
a fucking X in it.
Russell Erxleben. Erxleben.
Erxleben?
Erxleben. Erxleben.
There
That's
you
how
go.
you call it. Russell Erxleben. I got it. Russell Allen Erxleben.
Is this the first one with an X?
First guy with an X. Yeah, it's a terrible name with a lot of...
Can we just call him Russell?
We're going to call him Russell the entire time.
I refuse to pronounce that bullshit.
And there's 4 consonants in a row, guys. That's a lot. That's even the shawarma man would be like, that's one too many. You know what I mean?
It's too many.
It's too many consonants for me. I don't know. So he's born January 13th, 1957 in Seguin, Texas.
Okay.
He's a small town Texas guy.
Can we call it Sequin, Texas?
We'll call him Sequin, Texas. We'll call him Russell Erxleben from Sequin, Texas. He's a big kid for a kicker. He turned out to be a kicker, and he's a Janikowski type in more than one way. He's like a Sebastian Janikowski, 6'3", 225-pound kicker.
Holy shit.
Big cat. Yeah, he's a big dude, and he's a straight-on kicker. Oh. Nowadays, everybody kicks soccer style. You come at it sideways, kick with your toe. Everybody's seen in football how field goal kickers
He
kick.
kicks like that dude that kicked the longest one.
Yes.
With the fucking square toe.
Exactly.
Right.
That's exactly how he kicks. And it's a very,
What was that guy's name? I forget.
Dempsey.
Dempsey.
The Saints Tom Dempsey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this guy ends up, he's got some similarities to Dempsey in
All right.
more than one way here. In high school, he's not a junior, by the way, I'm going to say that.
That's great.
That's terrific, because his father's name is Elroy, which I find, Elroy Erxleben. Elroy Erxleben.
That's fucked
from
up.
Seguin, Texas. Boy,
Double
he's
E's. That's shitty.
Ooh-wee. They're lucky they named him something else. Russell's a little bit better.
Yeah.
In high school, he was actually the star quarterback and kicker. Really? Also, he was a good quarterback, a big kid, good arm apparently, and also too, he's in a small town.
Yeah.
He's probably the most athletic guy in the town. Basically, is how it works. I'm sure they had no black people there either. It's a small town in
Nobody
Texas in
to
the
kick his
'60s.
ass. Yeah.
Nobody that's going to jump any higher or run any faster, so he's going to do it. He's recruited heavily everywhere as a kicker. He's one of the top kickers, kicking prospects in the entire nation.
Really?
Absolutely. He kicks booming field goals, and he's a great punter.
He had it all on the horizon. Everything was laid out for him.
Yeah, he chooses University of Texas at Austin. So, I mean, that's a football powerhouse, the Longhorns. And plus, for a Texas kid, what more of a dream is that?
Yeah.
And you're going to play for the University of Texas. I mean, I guess if
Make
you're an
Elroy
A&M
proud.
fan or a Baylor fan.
Right.
Jesus, Baylor this week, too. But more Baylor. Everybody go
so
back.
So much bad news.
Listen to Carlton Dotson, how many huge corpses are found in Texas. I think it's episode 12.
Yeah.
Check that out, and you'll get the beginning of the Baylor saga, then follow it online. We'll do a full-on Baylor episode one day, because it's just unfolding.
Baylor.
Just Baylor.
That would be so fun.
It would be. We're gonna do that.
Wait.
We're gonna do that, because there's too much not to. You
Right.
can't even pick a guy. It's an institution to go after. But he chooses University of Texas, this guy. Probably a big University of Texas fan growing up, that sort of thing. Goes there, like I said, what a dream for this kid. He's living the life.
Big bull on his fucking helmet.
Oh, yeah, he's got the longhorn on the helmet, doing well. Freshman year doesn't play freshman year. He's like a red shirt, I think, which is common. They just sit him down the freshman year. He's a young kid. He actually was pissed off because he wanted to play quarterback. And they're like, "You're a kicker."
Yeah, listen,
buddy.
fuck.
You're a kicker.
You can't get out of your own way.
You're not a quarterback in college. You're a quarterback in Seguin, Texas, as we're going to call it, with population 241. Where the janitor plays left tackle on the football team.
Minority population 0.
Yeah, no, this is the real college.
Right.
You have to play kicker. And it's weird in college too. Like, one of the coaches right away saw one of the special teams guys was there, and he was like, "Who's that kid over there?" And he said, "That one's all yours," and kind of waved him off. And he said, "Well, why?" And he just walked away waving him off, and he found out that was Erxleben. And it's because he's got lots of talent. He kicks like a badass, but he's not into stretching or practicing really.
He's not actually into football.
He's not really into stretching, practicing, doing much
Actually preparing.
outside of he's like, that's what he says. Like Janikowski. He just wants to get a beer gut, go in there and boot a field goal and go
show
sit
up,
down.
win the game, and go home.
That's it. So he has that sort of attitude a lot, where kind of coaches, but then they love him, the coaches, because he can come in and kick a 60-yard field goal, and they're like, "Oh my God, who can do that?"
Kid's amazing.
So as a matter of fact, in his junior year, October 1st, 1977, Texas versus Rice, which is another Texas school, Rice University. So it's a rivalry in state. Texas, not much of a rivalry here. You see why he went to Texas rather than one of the smaller schools, because Texas beat the holy shit out of Rice 72-15 that day.
God.
72-15.
Jesus.
That is a whooping.
And he's dropping kicks every other play.
Well, and in this game, and he's kicking and punting too. And
wow.
In this game, he sets a Division 1A record by kicking a 67-yard field goal.
Holy shit.
67 yards is long.
Nobody's even done that in the NFL.
No, that's a long,
that's a huge
goddamn
foot.
field goal. That's big time. I mean, but there's a thing here why also. From 1965 to 1988, the NCAA has changed their kicking rules. Yeah, we're going to talk about NCAA kicking rules for a minute. It's important, okay? It's interesting. They used to allow, when he kicked it, it was off a 2-inch tee. They used to allow a tee. They used to allow a 1-inch tee, then a 2-inch tee. Till 1988, they allowed a 2-inch tee to kick field goals off of.
Field goals?
Yeah, a guy would hold it, and you could have a tee.
That's unbelievable.
This was kicked off a 2-inch tee, but still the accuracy, it's pretty damn decent.
Still got to put it there.
And no one else was doing it.
And you got to get it 67 fucking yards.
And no one else was doing it. It was still a record, so it's not like it was nothing. But
Right.
I mean, compared to off the ground, and in '88 they switched it to now how it is now off the ground, so that's different. No tee allowed. With this game, he earned a nickname of Thunderfoot.
Yeah.
Which is a
And
apt but shit nickname.
Big fat fuck.
Yeah, apt but kind of shitty, lazy nickname. He's, I mean, in college though, he was just as far as kickers go. By the time he finishes college, he had 11 field goals over 50 yards, which is huge in 3 years.
Unbelievable.
And they only played 11 games a year back then, and 3 over 60 yards.
My God.
Including a 64-yarder and a 67-yarder.
14 field goals over 50 yards.
And 3, yeah.
And they're all good.
And 2's he might have missed a bunch of them too, but he hit some also.
Yeah.
But that's incredible. So obviously, everybody's looking at this guy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Kickers are hard to come by. A good kicker's hard to come by. And there's a reason why when a team gets a good kicker, like a Morton Anderson or somebody like that, they hang on to him for 20 goddamn years. Or even like a Vinatieri, you can be 46 years old and still have a job.
Jason Elam.
Yeah.
On any of these guys, they can stick around forever.
Kick to their mid-40s if they can keep putting it through the uprights.
And you're not allowed to hit them.
You're not allowed to hit them. They stay healthy. Right. Yeah, they look like science teachers, half of them.
And they don't bed with the team. They don't do anything with the team. They just show up.
They hang out with the punter.
Yeah, they just show up in their little limo after the
bounce the balls, and they do weird shit where they do like weird kicking exercises. They play like hacky sack with the football. It's super fucking weird.
It's bizarre.
They're a weird culture, kickers, when you see them. They just
Kickers
hang out to themselves, just doing weird. And the coaches don't even really deal with them. They're just like, keep kicking the ball that way. Just,
And then when they come off the field, they high-five them or pat them on the
That's
ass,
it.
and then
Or
they go
cut
their
them.
own way.
Either one. Or cut them for missing it. But they're like,
cut them for beating their wife.
Yeah.
Like Josh Brown.
Or you can do that, which I'm sure we'll get to him someday also. But 1979, the Senior Bowl comes around. Now, that was after a senior season, obviously. The Senior Bowl is, for those of you who don't know what the Senior Bowl is, it's basically like, in comedy, it would be like a showcase for industry. Okay. It'd be like you're doing like it's the North and the South. They still play the game, and it's coached by NFL staffs.
Oh wow!
They come in and coach the game. It's not coached by college staffs, and they take the top players that are supposed to be drafted and want to go to the next level or ready to go to the next level. They bring in NFL staffs and coach them so they can get a look at these guys, and you can get in kind of an inside scouting report. Yeah, and they still do it, and it's a big deal. A lot of guys pick Dak Prescott of the Cowboys right now. The reason why the Cowboys have him is because they coached him in the Senior Bowl, and they just liked him. And he in college, his stats weren't impressive.
It's like a scrimmage for the combine.
Nobody else looked at it. It's real game. It's real game, and you get to see how the guy practices all week. Also, that's the thing. And they saw what he was all about, and they put him on the board. Like, if this guy's available late, let's grab him. But they didn't think twice about him, and now he's been doing well for them. So that's the type of deal what this is here. Russell plays for the South team, obviously, in Texas, and they are coached by New Orleans Saints head coach Dick Nolan. And Dick Nolan had coached San Francisco for like 8 years before that, got him to the NFC Championship game a couple of times. So he was a pretty good coach. The Saints were a train wreck from day one, from 69 or 68 from their inception. They were terrible. So they needed something, so they hired
so
this
bad
guy.
they had to have a long fucking kicker with Dempsey.
With Dempsey, that's exactly right. That was their first one, and now here, and Nolan was going into his second year as Saints coach here, and they give him say in the draft. Nowadays, it's general manager drafts. The coach doesn't say shit about it. That's it. The owner and the general manager know. The coach can suggest something, but they don't really care what he has to say. They're going to get the guys they want to get. Back then, the coach controlled the draft a lot of the times. Unless it was a real powerful owner or something, the coach controlled the draft. So
is that like when Madden was coaching? Like
the 70s. Yeah, a lot of times. I don't know. Al Davis was probably the drafter.
You're probably right. Yeah,
he was
in
their general
control
manager.
Of fucking everything.
Yeah, and he prided himself on player personnel. He started as a GM, so I
go.
would imagine that would be a big deal for him. But they gave Nolan control here of the draft, and it's probably not a great idea to give Nolan control because basically Nolan fell in love with Russell during the Senior Bowl.
Really?
Because he was watching him boot these 65-yard field goals in practice, and he's like, Jesus Christ, nobody's on. Nobody on my team's doing that.
Right.
You know,
he's not paying
honestly.
attention to this fucker's practice and how he prepares.
Kickers don't care with kickers.
That's a good point.
They're just like, hey, I don't care what he does. When he steps out there, he kicks that thing. I don't have anyone that can do that. If there's 3 seconds left and we need 54-yard field goal to win the game, I'd like to have this guy.
Yes, sir.
So the South wins this game 41-21, by the way, in case anybody gives a shit. So Nolan's in charge of the draft. Now, Vice President of Saints player personnel, Harry Hulmes, disagreed with drafting Russell with a high pick. He wanted to, let's see if we can get him in the second round or something like that if you love him that much. But Nolan, not deterred. Not deterred. He says, no, I don't want to miss out on him. I'm picking him number 11 overall.
Holy shit.
That is batshit for a kicker.
Yeah.
Insanity. He's the second highest drafted
Think
kicker
about that.
ever in the
Would
history
you
of the
ever
league.
pick a kicker that high in your fucking fantasy
No,
draft?
he's the second highest drafted kicker in
Unbelievable.
the history of the league.
In the history.
In the history of the league.
Who was picked higher?
I think it was Ray Guy, I think, the Raiders. Picked a punter, Ray Guy.
All right.
Who's, I think, a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Also. So that was
was
a great pick, actually.
Yeah.
But this, we'll see how this works out. And now back to the show. That's not quite so great.
Who was picked after him that year?
We're going to get to that. Also in the draft before him, just as a kind of an interesting draft, you had Phil Simms at number 7, the Giants and the current announcer for football.
I fucking hate his announcing because he hates the Broncos.
One of my favorite players of all time, Otis Anderson, the
how
old
about that?
running back for the Cardinals and Giants.
Yeah.
Fucking O.J. Anderson. He stopped calling himself O.J., so let's stick to the Otis.
Stick with that bullshit Otis.
I don't know if I want to be a running back named O.J. right now. I think I'm going to go with Otis.
I hate the name Otis, but there's only one name worse.
If you guys Google right now Otis Anderson, a picture of him, try to find a picture of him on the Giants. Those are his later years.
Right.
Now, you will look at that picture, and you will think he's approximately 48 years old. He's like 31. He looks 48, and he looks like he just came in from... Basically, looks like he's been working double shifts in a factory. One of those factories, like when you think of like a steel factory from the 50s, where he's just got a big mallet just beating shit and there's sparks flying everywhere. Double shift for fucking 35 years. That's what he looks like. And
That's awesome.
You just pulled him off after a double shift and said, "Hey Otis, here's a picture." Snap, and he was like, "Huh?" And you superimposed a uniform on him.
Hilarious.
That's what it looks like. But he was actually a tremendous running back and the MVP of Super Bowl. What was it, they beat the Bills in 1990. 1990 season, they beat the Bills. Super Bowl 25,
that would make it,
maybe,
28?
in Tampa. I don't remember. It doesn't fucking
Yeah, it
matter.
doesn't
But Otis
matter.
Anderson is hilarious. Look him up. Also, Dan Hampton, the famous Hall of Fame Bears defensive tackle as well, from the 85 Bears. After him, number 13, you could have had Hall of Fame tight end Kellen Winslow.
Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely. From the Chargers, one of the greatest tight ends in the history of the league. You could have had him 2 picks later. But
Unbelievable.
No. And they had, back then, the Saints quarterback, which was Archie Manning, Peyton and Eli's father, who was a good quarterback on a horrible team.
Right.
That team was a goddamn disaster. Fucking mess all around. And he really could have used a great tight end that can, go over the middle.
So sad.
But no, instead, here's a kicker for you.
Right.
Awful. So also, too, this name was amazing, looking over their draft. Saints also drafted a guy named Harlan Huckleby in round 5.
Yeesh.
A running back from Michigan. Harlan Huckleby.
That man didn't commit crimes?
No. Played for about 6 seasons in the league. Old Harlan Huckleby
Unbelievable.
seemed to go out without a shot fired. It's all good. Not too bad. Like the Cold War. May 4th, 1979. It's the day after the draft.
Yeah.
There's an article it's in a New England newspaper, in a Boston area newspaper, about how the Patriots are super disappointed that the Saints picked Russell because they were really wanting him.
Patriots really wanted
They were
him.
like, those son of a bitches jumped us. We didn't get him.
They
We're
ruined
pissed.
our draft.
They weren't going to take him with the number 11 pick, I'm
Right,
sure, but
right.
they maybe would have taken him with a second rounder like a normal person. Russell gets a crazy contract for a kicker, too.
Yeah.
He gets, I don't know his base salary, but it doesn't matter because this is 1979, mind you, way different money structure.
Yeah.
He got a $300,000 bonus.
Wow.
With $275,000 of it up front.
My
which is
God.
nuts. Because back then they used to pay, like Otis Anderson, I know his bonus was $250,000 to be paid over 25 years.
That's a running back.
That's a
somebody
running
that
back.
fucking mattered every game.
And was a badass, too.
Yeah.
He was a great running back.
It was earning that money.
This guy here, he gets this with the help of a shady agent named Mike Trope. This guy, he's accused of just epic tales of scumbaggery. This guy just of stealing from threatening to have Otis Anderson arrested because he owed him $200 that he gave him up front for an agent, just like for a trip to California.
So gross,
insane. He's the ultimate silver-haired middle-aged white man. This guy. And he would go in and undercut too. Like he wasn't a full-service agency. All he would do was negotiate contracts.
That's it.
He didn't do investments. He didn't do savings. He didn't do any of the financial shit that most of the agents do.
The all-in-one, one-stop shop is not here.
No, most of the agents charge 7%. They do everything. This guy charges 3.5% and just negotiates contracts. And he's a killer on bonuses. He gets big bonuses, so he's signing players left and fucking right. And he's just a complete scumbag. Now, so things are going well, though. He just got a big bonus. He's drafted first-round draft pick. Success.
What can be better?
A kid from Sequin, Texas, with a dad named Elroy. There's
oil field money there.
I don't even think so.
No.
There's dirt farm money there. Like, that's, go out and harvest the dirt, son.
Right.
No, it ain't ready yet. Okay. We'll wait. Like, that's what we're talking about here.
It's still too dry, Paul.
It's still too dry, Paul. All right, then. Sorry, then. Elroy, you and the boy come in for dinner. All right there, Ma. We'll be in a minute. That's what we're talking about. This guy ended up going to the University of Texas. He ended up fulfilling that dream. He kicks the longest field goal in NCAA and Division I history. Gets drafted in the first round, a high first round, almost the top 10 in the NFL, which is unprecedented, second highest.
Unbelievable.
Gets a $300,000 bonus, which back then is like $1 million bonus.
$275 right up front.
He's doing great.
He's got cash in his pocket.
In his pocket, he can buy a house. He can do whatever he wants. So June 2nd, the next month, he marries a girl.
Why not?
Let's get married. Fuck it. Ava L. Elsick. Another terrible name. Do these people, God, can one person...
Elsick?
Elsick with a K at the end. Not a C. E-L-S-I-K. Elsick. I'd like one person in this story to not have an X or a K in their name, and I'd be very excited. He marries her in Guadalupe County, Texas, which sounds like just a paradise, I would imagine. You can't get it.
It's the second worst Ava name in history next to Braun.
Yeah, well, that is bad. Well, at least Braun wasn't that bad. It was her association with Hitler. By the way, Hitler comes up in this story later.
My God.
There is a Hitler connection to this story. In this story, there are connections too. This is amazing. Hitler, Donald Trump. We have both Hitler and Donald Trump. It's a wild episode. So he marries her. Now, training camp 1979.
Okay.
Right away, he's just not living up to what they thought he was.
Yeah.
He complains of back and leg injuries all the way through camp. He's going to miss a lot of the 79 season due to back and leg injuries and just kind of general bitching and complaining.
Yeah.
Does not perform well due to these injuries in training camp. Loses the starting place kicking job. So they drafted him number 11
and he lost
to kick 67-yard field goals, and this guy's not even making that.
He's not even reliable.
Making the starting roster there. Lost that to Rick Sarzo. I don't know who the hell that is, but he lost it to him. But he's still the punter.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to let him punt. Opening day, big day.
Yeah.
Like we said, kid's dream, first real game. Exhibition games don't count.
Right.
First regular season
one that's
pro
gonna
NFL
count.
game. It's going to count.
Yeah.
It's beautiful here. September 2nd, 1979. Okay, opening day of the season in the Louisiana Superdome, which is a big, giant dome. And back then, a dome was a big deal. It was cool.
Yeah.
Now it's a hunk of shit that you want torn down and for natural grass. But back then, it was like, look what we
For
made.
natural grass and the fact that there was rapes and shit in there during the fucking...
Now we're like, we made a plastic bag with grass on the bottom of it. Isn't that cool? No, it's terrible, and let's get rid of it. So they're playing division rival Atlanta this day, so it's a big division game, opening day. Huge shit. 70,940 in attendance.
My God.
And in New Orleans, this is for a terrible football team, mind you. That's never been good. So they're excited. They think that they have a new coach. They think that things are going to turn around. People are predicting them to be half decent this year.
There's projections being made.
It's looking good. So they're playing Atlanta. This game, great game, by the way. I was looking up the stats on it.
It's a division game.
Division game. They know each other.
Yep.
Awesome game. End of regulation, we're tied 34-34.
Oh my God, it's high scoring.
It's a great game. I'd love to watch that game if it happened now. Or
that's fun.
I wish it was on YouTube. I love old football games. I'll watch all of them. I do that. I go on YouTube and I'm like, hey, look at this, 1982.
I've never
Bears
done that.
Rams.
That sounds
Let's do it.
Yeah, that's a great time.
And just the broadcast too, and like the little commercials they do for shit. It's really interesting. to just see like
Dick Enberg when he was spry.
Yeah, and how shitty the graphics are.
Yeah.
I love they'll be like crooked sometimes. You're like, couldn't even make them straight. I know it's the 80s, but come on. You had fucking computers and technology of some kind. So, end of regulation, 34-34. We go to overtime. We're 8 minutes into overtime. If you don't know anything about football, overtime in football is sudden death. First team to score. Now it's different. Now field goal, whatever. Back then,
Now people whine and everybody wants a chance.
Back then, anytime somebody scored, whether it's a safety or a touchdown, doesn't matter. Game over. Yep. So it's sudden death. And if you don't score, it's a 15-minute period. And if nobody scores, then it ends in a tie, which is rare in football, and everyone hates a tie in football. No one wants to play for 5 quarters and get concussed and the shit beat out of them and end up for no result.
That's why nobody watches your soccer.
It's and even that's at least they try to have a resolution to it. This is tied, okay, over. So 8 minutes into overtime, so it's getting
nail biter.
It's a nail biter here.
Time's slipping away.
They have to punt. They're on their own 32-yard line.
Oh, no.
The Saints are on their own 32-yard line. Now, their long snapper, John Watson.
Oh, no. When you know his name,
when you know the long snapper's name, something bad has happened. He snaps it to Russell.
Yeah.
Snaps it 4 feet over Russell's head.
Oh, shit.
Russell, a little weighty.
Yeah.
He's been hitting the snack wells a little hard. Can't quite get up there. Little Debbie gut holding him down. Can't quite get up there, which is really, it was way over his fucking head. There's a picture of it. It's way over his head.
Hilarious.
So he chases it. It goes all the way back to the 5-yard line. Line of scrimmage is the 32.
Oh, no.
So, this thing flies all the way down there. He picks it up and he's trying not to get a safety because he's on like the 2-yard line at this point when he picks it up. And so he just takes it with 2 hands off the ground and just throws it forward just to get it away from him in the end zone. And it's, of course, intercepted by the Falcons, who run it back for a touchdown. Game over. So
what a debacle!
Yes,
the stress and pain and anguish he must have gone through.
And he thought he was a quarterback. Remember that part? This
and
guy was like, I could do. He's like, get away from me! They're going to hurt me. Not great. Not a great moment in time for him.
Not a great tryout for your quarterback position either.
Yeah, it turns out he's a punter. He's definitely a punter. That he's a good punter, but
turns out you move a football much better with your lower extremities.
Absolutely, man.
That's
hell of
awesome.
a first impression to make on the fans too. Here's our number 1 draft pick. Let's see, he's gonna boom it like 70 yards.
They picked him number 11.
Oh, game over. Shit. Well, that was a waste.
Yeah.
How'd Kellen Winslow do today? Pretty well? The 150 yards?
Touchdown?
Yeah, I should have looked up what Kellen Winslow did in his first game.
Oh, that would have been magic.
God, I'm an idiot. Well, I was too busy knee-deep in crime here, as we'll get to. The shit I had to figure out this week is, we'll get into it, but it's batshit. You guys, get on Patreon. Donate to our Patreon page, because, goddamn, I deserve it this week. We really do. We deserve it. So, the game ends 40-34. So that's that. So and they're looking good. As the season progresses, the Saints aren't bad. They're looking like they're going to be a playoff team for the first time ever in New Orleans, which is a huge deal. The fans are loving it. And then they have a couple shit games at the end of the year. They end up finishing 8-8, missing the playoffs.
Oh, shitty.
They lose the division to the Rams, who went 9-7. That was the Gus Ferragamo team.
Eesh.
They ended up losing to the Steelers in the Super Bowl that year, if we all remember, in Los Angeles.
That's
actually.
Brutal.
Didn't go so well that season, right? Not great rookie season. March 21st, 1980, things aren't getting any better. He divorces Ava.
She
they get
ain't gonna
divorced
hack it
already.
all.
No, she's like...
Maybe she's the bad luck charm.
She thought he was a quarterback, too. That's the problem. He's like, I didn't like that pass from him.
That's hilarious.
So they get married in Travis County, Texas, or they get divorced in Travis County, Texas. I apologize. Their marriage lasted, and I love this. I found a site that had their marriage records, which is phenomenal. And
awesome.
Their marriage lasted 1 year, 293 days. I love having an exact number of days on a marriage. It really
293 is
really makes it seem inconsequential when you hear 1 year, 293 days. Like, that doesn't sound like much. No. That's not a life. No. You didn't make a life.
So much for happily ever after and so much till death do us part.
So now Russell had a bad rookie season, but he's got a lot of money in his pocket, and he's lonely, right?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're lonely, Jimmie?
Hookers.
No. What you do is you get married again. The smart man...
So much cheaper for a hooker.
Smart guy would get married 5 months later,
Jesus.
which is what he does. On August 30th, 1980, he marries Carrie M. Hoff in Travis County, Texas.
That one sounds like it'll last.
And she's 18 years old, this one, too.
That ain't gonna last.
And yeah, he's like 23. She's 18. It's
young love.
This is a second 18-year-old bride. But it's Texas. They're
He
looking
banged
for
her on
some
the
kind
hood
of
of a
weird...
car
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
fell in love.
No. He took her on the 50-yard line of his high school field, I feel like. And that impressed her because she's only 18.
Yeah.
She was like, wow, I always wanted to be on the field in my high school. By the way, I got to be there in the morning, so can you drop me off home? Jesus Christ, I got
That's
finals
so
in the
awesome.
morning.
Yeah.
Horrible. So, yeah, she probably graduated in June, for Christ's sake, and now they're getting married in August. So
He can buy beer, though. So.
And it was Texas in 1980. Things still work like that,
Yeah.
I feel like. It's whatever. Anyway, we get into the next season here. Uneventful training camp. They're going to try him out kicking this year.
All right.
I'm going to say, since we drafted him number 11, let's see if he can kick a goddamn field goal.
Can we use this pick for an actual
Please.
kick that we designed him for?
And this season, the 1980 season, is one of the most fun seasons of any football team we're ever going to talk about. It's so you don't have to be a football fan. It's just hilarious. It's a debacle of a mess. Season openers versus San Francisco, another division rival. So it's a home game again at the Superdome. The Saints are down at the end of the game. Final seconds of the game, they're down 26-23.
Oh, it's so close.
26-23. That's 3 points.
That's only a field
What
goal.
can get you 3 points? A field goal. So they send in Russell to try to kick a 34-yard
Fuck
field goal.
Russell, it's so easy.
Chip shot.
Yeah.
This guy kicks 67 yards.
So easy.
34 yards is a chip shot. You're like, this is why we drafted this guy.
Yeah.
Money, send him out. Dude just started checking his watch. Started like reading the paper. I was going to say he's looking at his phone, but they didn't have that in 1980. He's just sitting there like, takes out their paper. He's looking through like his stock quotes going, I'm glad I invested in AT&T
Wasn't it
this
the
quarter.
one
That's
ad?
good. Yeah, let's see if there's any other coaching jobs available. Send him in there, no problem, right? Beautiful. And hopefully, too, we won't have to throw any passes in this particular situation. So he misses a 34-yarder at the end of the game.
Oh, my God.
As time expires. Saints lose 26-23, earns himself a new nickname of Blunderfoot. Yeah. So
That's more apropos.
you got to leave it up to disaffected sports fans to nickname people. That's wonderful. They're like, Thunderfoot, how about Blunderfoot? Fuck this guy. 11th overall. How's Kellen Winslow doing this year? He was goddamn near MVP last year, this fucking bastard. So
That's so good.
the Saints in the 1980 season after that. So you think of that. That's if you're a Saints fan, and they were predicted to go to the playoffs this year too. Like
Again.
if you looked at like every expert's projection, it was Saints are going to win the division or at least make a wild card this year. They're probably going to win 10 games. This is the year for them, to at least make a step up in the right direction. And after the first game, 26-23, they missed the field goal at the end. It was close. There's hope.
There's still a glimmer.
And it looks like a good team, and you're like, all right, they played that game
Right.
tough.
Sometimes good kickers miss easy field goals.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
It's just, and he's coming in. Who knows? He's a little shaky, whatever.
Yeah.
The Saints go on to lose their next 13 straight games.
Oh, my God.
13 straight games. They would not get
That is brutal.
That's insane. It's one of the, at the time, it was they tied for a longest losing streak deal with the Buccaneers from a couple of years back, and it stood for a while. They ended up finishing the season 1-15, which at the time they were the only team to ever finish 1-15. Since then, there's been a shitload.
Yeah.
88 Cowboys,
Right.
There's
There's been one that finished 0-16.
the Lions. That was awful. But they finally get their first win on Week 15, December 14th, versus the Jets.
They went. Oh my God!
They went the whole year
They
till
went
December.
14 losing. To win one in December. It's the garbage time.
And the Jets were terrible that
it's just
year
a
too.
mercy fuck.
And it was this game too had 0 degree wind chill with 45-mile-an-hour gusts.
Oh God!
At the Meadowlands.
It's even an awful game to watch.
At the Meadowlands, which was such a windy place, and cold and windy, and Archie Manning somehow managed to throw a touchdown pass in the last minute of the game and win the game.
Thank God.
Magical. He had magical sperm and magical arm, apparently. So, the Saints are terrible that year. They're so bad that, like I said, predicted to make the playoffs. The team, after there was a Week 12 game against the Rams, and before that, the whole week, the team started, all the fans started bringing signs and calling them the Aints.
Yeah, and that's when they had the bags over their head and shit.
That's the first Week 12 against the Los Angeles Rams was the first time fans wore paper bags to a sporting event. This is the first time, and this has
they didn't want to be known as people that were fans of the ain't gonna win.
That's the thing. They wrote Aints on it. You've seen the fans with the poked out eye holes with a paper bag on their head. These were the people that invented it because this team was so terrible. Kicked off by a missed field goal by this fucking idiot. So if you see a guy with a paper bag on his head, this guy helped start that.
He was
a
the
catalyst.
Kickstarter.
It was
his leg that kickstarted that fucking movement.
The old Blunderfoot movement. And this spread around everywhere. Amazing. So after that game, ownership's looking. They're like, let's see here. We have no wins in 12 games, and the fans are wearing bags on their head and calling us
It's not good.
the Aints. This is not great. They lost that game to the Rams 27-7, by the way. It wasn't, and a lot of these games this year were like 41-17, and they got the shit
Just
kicked
blowouts.
out of them. They were getting hammered every week.
This is probably the starter, too, of like when whatever NCAA team won the national championship. They're like, put them against the Saints.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even close.
No, and the Saints probably still would have won, even with this guy.
Right. The Saints would have killed them. They're real fucking men.
Absolutely.
But the point is, because they're so bad, people are making that comparison.
So they're so bad that Dick Nolan gets shit canned after that game. They were like, that's it. They had bags on their head, dude. You're out of here. Sorry.
Good pick, dickhead.
You can't even get the fans to come with their faces exposed. That's how bad you are as a coach. We're not having you anymore. They hire Dick Stanfel, another Dick. We need another guy named Dick in the building.
There's too many in football.
Yeah, Dick only lasted, he coached the last 4 games of the year and went on to be a defensive line coach with the Bears for years with Ditka. And even when Ditka coached the Saints in the late 90s, he dragged this guy out of retirement to come coach his offensive line. Like that. So he coached on the 85 Bears, the legendary Super Bowl winning 85 Bears. So Stanfel got around, old Dickie boy, old Dickie S. Dickie stands. So that season ends pathetically. They get 1 win, and it's one of the worst teams in the history of football, and just a complete fucking disaster. So that coach is gone. They get rid of Stanfill, too. He's just an interim guy. They bring in Bum Phillips the next year.
Oh, wow.
You remember, Bum Phillips, a legendary, one of these old character Texan coaches. It's just
got a nickname, or is Bum his real name? That's got to be a nickname, right?
It's a nickname. Yeah,
it's
a nickname. He's Bum Phillips in an interview when he's first starts coaching the team. He's been there like 2 weeks, and the reporters are asking him, what about this about the team? And he's like, I don't know, but I sure found a lot of good places to eat around town. That's one thing I did. Like, he's one of these old characters. Like, I ain't watching any film or nothing, but that place has some good gumbo down the way. So
try the barbecue.
He comes in, he says, what he's going to be doing this season, and this guy's doing this guy's doing that. He said, Russell's playing kicker and punter this year. He's doing both jobs for us.
It's going to make him work and earn that fucking money.
To him, too, he's saying, save a roster spot like
there
that.
You go.
That's another, special teams guy or a linebacker I can throw on here, and, whatever. You never know what you need. He says, quote, he did both jobs in college and did it better than anyone else. So
he's not lying.
He's not lying. He's going to be our guy. Now, that's March 18th, 1981, so he's going to play. And more good news on March 18th, 1981. There's a big ad for RCA in this paper.
I thought you were going to say like a baby was born.
No. RCA, the electronics company,
RCA.
They're advertising, and this is really actually pretty goddamn interesting. They're advertising in only 4 days to go. And they're like doing a thing like 4 days to go, 3 days to go with the newspaper.
Countdown.
The premiere of the, quote, RCA Select-O-Vision video disc.
Oh, boy.
Which is a laser disc.
Yeah.
This is when laser discs
Those
were
big
invented.
fat wafers, they were so big.
And they're amazing, though. The quality is incredible. And in the 90s, they came back and they were really big, and everybody thought they were new technology. They came out in the 80s. They were just so expensive, nobody used them. It's
couldn't
incredible.
afford it.
And the quote on this is, quote, in 4 days, you could be watching the best in movies, concerts, sports, and more, ... on records. Like, that's so desirable.
Such a big deal.
On records. Now you like it, don't you? You love that LP record player, huh? How'd you like that?
Only if I can rewind and watch in slow-mo. This fucking Russell missing that punt every time.
Yeah, just over and over. The ellipses on there really got me, though. ... on records. Like, they really wanted you to wait for it.
Build up.
Wait for how you're going to watch. On records. Sold now, right?
The suspense.
The suspense. Also, too, there at your local Spartanburg, South Carolina Goodyear dealers, you can get some radial tires for $38 a piece and a front end alignment for only $18.
Fucking deal, babe.
So, I mean,
I dare you to try to find an alignment for $18 an hour.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Get back to
That's all
fucking
I'm gonna
Texas.
say. I just thought that was incredible. That was when Laserdisc started at that moment.
It's pretty awesome.
It's a weird thing. So September 25th, 1982, we're going to cut to here through his uneventful. He's just punting. They're not even letting him kick.
Yeah.
After that debacle in the beginning of the season.
Was he at least a good punter?
He was decent.
Kicking, like
he wasn't bad, but
no?
not great. No, he wasn't anything like that.
No?
His accuracy, he didn't work on shit. He and he even says it later. He's like, just kind of kicked.
Whatever.
And his son's kind of the same way. He has a son Of course.
Really?
We'll get into that, though. You know we will, guys. You know we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So the 1982 season was a strike season for football. If we all remember, there was a big strike in the NFL. And this is during the NFL strike. Russell is a player rep. Now the unions, every team has a player. They have a few player reps who are like the union guys who go around and see who on their team will vote a certain way for shit and stuff like that.
He's the union steward.
Yeah, of his team. There's a couple union reps for each team, and he's one of them, which is he's the kicker, which is odd. But he's a smart guy. He pretends to be a smart guy.
All right.
He fools people into thinking he's a smart guy, which is
That's a catalyst.
This is the beginning of it here, of his whole life of crime.
He figures out he can manipulate people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He figured that out a long time ago, but he really figures it out here. So, he thinks, and he's saying this shit publicly in the papers, that he feels like the negotiator that was hired by the union, by the players' union, a guy named Ed Garvey, is pressuring them to keep the strike on. Russell says that he's been reprimanded by Garvey for publicly speaking out against the strike and its demands. And he says while he's canvassing the team, he runs into players who are not into the strike.
Right.
And he's like, how come their voices aren't being heard, is his basic thing. And on the strike, we have an in their own words from Russell on the strike, him trying to act like he's intelligent and smart. In their own words, quote, if the players want it, fine. If not, let the voices be heard. I am by no means not wanting to mess up the whole union. We're behind every team in the league, but we just want to find out if everybody still feels the same. It's not a weakening of position at all. Do the people striking really know, or are they just doing it because everybody intimidated them to strike? Fair
Good
enough.
questions.
It's fair enough, right? And this is fine, but he's really doing this just for his own glorification.
Of course.
We'll see in a minute. So November 10th, 1982, a couple months later, shit's getting heated. They're still striking. Owners are pissed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit flying around the media because they're trying to place, basically it's public pressure and scrutiny, and so...
Well, he's got to get his ducks in a row and find out if everybody's voice is being heard.
Everybody's voice needs to be heard. Well, it's true. And the owners are trying to put blame on the players, so that pressure on them to come to the table, and the players are trying to put pressure on the owners publicly. Because, whoever the fans kind of blame is who's going to get blamed.
That's how negotiation works.
Absolutely. So Russell here he's claiming that he was threatened. That he's threatened about voicing his public dissent against the union, physically threatened. We have it in their own words on the threats here. On the threats, in their own words, quote, I have received threats indirectly from several sources saying that Ed Garvey would have my leg broken and all this stuff. When I called Garvey, he laughed and denied it and said it was all just bull, just people starting stuff. So he's out publicly saying this guy's threatening to break his leg.
And Garvey's just laughing at him for it.
Yeah, which, he's sure, they're sitting around, I'm sure the guy was like, that guy needs his goddamn leg broken. Right. And then somebody told him that. I'm sure he wasn't, hiring thugs to do it.
It's like 12 Angry Men when they're like, I'll kill you. And he's like, see, I told you could say it.
Yeah, and now this, too, back then, they probably might have broken his leg.
I'll break his fucking leg if he doesn't go along with this.
In New Orleans in the early 80s, you could have got a leg broken for $80 probably.
I'm sure it was cheaper than that. I'm sure it was a gator head or some shit.
No problem, yeah.
He negotiated the pants off an 18-year-old on the 50-yard line.
He did.
This is the guy I want negotiating my contract and my future in the NFL.
The union claims here that several players have been threatened by this, but the only actual complaint on record is Russell's. Has Russell's name on it. So I think he's probably full of shit anyway. Thanks, guys.
Now back to the show.
Whole situation gets resolved, and this is the problem too. This happened with a lot of guys after the draft. The guys that were kind of draft agitators didn't stick around the league too long afterwards. The owners weren't too keen on keeping the guys.
Keeping around a shit starter?
That guy's a shit stirrer. That guy, let's get him back for trying to stick it to us during the strike. Right. So he's released after the 1984 season by the Saints. Or he's released early 1984 after the 83 season. So I think he plays out his contract, and that's it. He's out.
He's gone.
So he doesn't play the 84 season at all.
Wow.
He sits on his ass.
Done.
I assume eating brownies and fucking, I have
no idea. More Little Debbie snack cakes.
Yeah, diddling his 18-year-old wife, who's now, she's now 21.
Right. She can buy beer on her own, so I imagine this marriage is going to go elsewhere pretty quick.
And absolutely, yeah. Now there's going to be problems. Yeah, she's going to be able to.
She can get whatever she
can go out to the honky tonk at night and go whatever they got in Texas. Whatever. This is 85. She go to that place that Travolta went in Urban Cowboy and ride the mechanical bull with Deborah Winger. I assume. I have no idea. I don't know what these fucking people are doing.
She's got half an NFL contract's money.
She's
a quarter, depending on whatever that other broad.
Yeah, I'm sure he left her high and dry. What are you kidding here?
Of course.
Let's.
Does he have a kid with
It's
her
his
yet? Is
character.
that what you said?
They end up having one child, him and
It's a son,
Carrie
yes?
here. Yes, a son.
Okay.
This is a different son, though, than we'll talk about.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's the same one. I apologize. A son named Ryan.
Oh.
We'll get to. And
Look at this.
boy named Ryan, I think he's born about 81 or 82. So it's pretty quick after they get
Start
married.
of that douchey
Been a couple
name.
years. Yeah, Ryan fucking awfulness. Ryan X last name.
Erxleben.
Erxleben. Blah, blah, blah.
Ugh, it's so gross. It's a
Erxleben.
mumble.
Erxleben. She sounds drunk saying it. Russell Erxleben. He's kind of just.
You'd never get a DUI with that name.
I Russell Erxleben. They'd be like, Jesus, dude.
Come look, see your ID. That is your name.
That is
See you around.
Jesus. Wow.
Jesus, that
I
sounds
thought you
awful.
messed it up. There's a lot of consonants you got.
You're
there,
going
buddy.
through enough, son. Go ahead,
That's
get
a
home.
ton of consonants. Get out of here. Go on home. It's just down that way. Don't worry
You
about it.
tongue wrestle that name every day. Get out of here.
I'll call ahead, make sure nobody else gets you. So, January 31st, 1985, the Los Angeles Rams take a shot at him. They sign him to a one-year deal.
Really?
Yeah, they give him a shot. They're like, what the hell? I mean, that's what happens with kickers. Kickers have 3 bad games. They're cut. They're auditioning 10 new guys.
You're
So
right.
Let's see what
You're
happens.
right.
So they actually sign him to a one-year deal. He doesn't make the team. Never plays for the Rams that year at all.
But he gets some cash.
Yeah, he got his, whatever his bonus was. I mean, that's that, which probably wasn't much for a guy who's a kicker
up
who
off the street.
Kicker who hasn't played in a year off the street. Now, 1986. Here's our Donald Trump connection. 1986. He signs with the USFL New Jersey Generals,
Yeesh.
owned by Donald Trump at the time. Okay. Now
One of the first terrible decisions Donald Trump ever made.
The terrible decision he made was destroying the league and fucking torpedoing it with a lawsuit and having them not play rather than retarded. I was a kid. Goddamn motherfucker. I don't care. You know what? Here it comes, Jimmie. Skip Bayless, fucking Lou Gehrig, Cal Ripken, kiss my ass.
USFL. There
This
we go.
is nothing to do with politics, by the way. I don't give a shit who you fucking voted for. If you're an American, we have a lot of overseas listeners. You don't care. Over here, I don't care who you voted for. This isn't about politics. I could have think every policy he has is wonderful. This motherfucker. Watch the documentary Who Killed the USFL. It's a 30 for 30 documentary. It's on ESPN. It explains a lot, but I was a little kid. I loved the USFL.
You lived it.
I loved it, goddammit. Do you understand? It was football in the spring.
Yeah.
So there was the NFL, and then the NFL
The
was
off
over,
season.
and then
you're so lonely.
3 weeks later, guess what would happen? Goddamn football would start. More football. And they were having bidding wars, stealing NFL draft picks, and they had great players. It
was great drama.
Steve Young, Doug Flutie, and Herschel Walker, and Reggie fucking White, and Chris Carter. They had these great players. It was exciting. It was so much fun. It was on ESPN as a kid. I remember watching it. I was like, this is so fantastic. And then it was gone. It was gone. Why was it gone? Because Trump wanted to move the shit to the fall and compete with the NFL. So he just did the whole thing to try to do that. Basically, they were trying to pressure the NFL to get them to take teams into the league like the AFL did and like the ABA did in the NBA. We explained that in a past episode, how the ABA did that with the in perpetuity.
So he's trying to do that and make more. There's enough fucking
He's
teams
trying
and
to
enough
do that.
games. What an asshole.
He tried to buy an NFL team, and they wouldn't fucking sell him one because they said, no, he's kind of an asshole. We already have one of those in Al Davis. Go fuck yourself. So he bought this. Absolutely. So he bought this and tried to muscle his way into the NFL, or basically say we're going to go to the fall if you don't fucking let us, if you don't take us in. The NFL said go fuck yourself. They had a court battle. They won the court battle, but you know what they won? $1. That was the damages.
The trading places.
Yep, for that in February of 1987. February 3rd, he gets a divorce from Carrie Hoff in Travis County, Texas again.
She's got enough.
We're going to keep hearing about
21
Travis
now.
County. Yeah, you nailed it. She's down riding the mechanical bull, dude.
She doesn't need his beer.
That's it. Travolta's there doing the two-step. It's over with, man. It's over.
I love it.
It's going to happen here. So this marriage lasted 6 years and 158 days.
Oh, goodness.
Which trivializes it big time, I feel like.
Yeah.
It
What,
really
6 years?
6 years.
That's great.
And 158 days. 6.5 years. It makes it sound a lot more trivial. They built a life. They had a son. 6 years, 158 days. Makes it sound very small. So fuck that.
My kid's older than that.
No worries. That didn't last very long. So 87, like I said, he's signed by the Detroit Lions. He plays in one game. I don't know if their punter was injured and they just needed a guy for one game. He has one punt for 52 yards, which is a great
point. That's a
great
really good punt.
He must have been a complete asshole is the only fucking thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Or he might have hurt himself. You know, might have pulled a hamstring or something. And they said, all right, we don't need you, old broken down
or maybe
kicker.
Or maybe it was just too long of a field goal. They were on like the 45, and he punted the shit through the end zone. They're like, what the fuck
That
did
wasn't
you do
what
that
we needed
for?
at all.
Put it on the 5, you dick.
Not what we needed at all. So his career stats,
Yeah.
we have not much to go by. He only kicked 4 field goals in his entire career in the NFL.
With the 11th pick.
11th pick overall, record-setting college kicks, the whole deal.
Wow.
You would expect him to at least play, for a while. By the way, he's replaced by Morton Anderson as the Saints kicker, who
the longest kicker ever.
Who they kept for 20 years.
Yeah.
He played till he was almost 50,
Yeah.
I think 49 or something. He played
for
till,
the Falcons. He
and
played
was
for all kinds
the
of people.
most consistent,
Yeah.
perfect, left-footed son of a bitch going, man. Morton Anderson was great. Punting-wise, he had 280 punts. So he played for bad teams. They punt a lot, too. So
Probably
280
had that
punts.
in like 4 games.
Yeah, that was
the
just the
Saints.
81 or the 80 season when they lost 15 games. 11,381 yards in these punts for 40.6 average.
That's
per punt,
great.
which actually isn't.
That's really good.
It's not terrible. It's
Yeah.
not wonderful. It's mediocre NFL punter.
That's really good.
That's an NFL punter.
If you're averaging 40 yards on your punts, there's punters now that, then again, with the run back too.
And it's specialized. It's a
Yeah,
different thing.
the
but
net of the
it's
the
not
yardage.
bad, but it's not one. It's not
Yeah.
Reggie Roby or anything.
Right,
if you
right,
look
right.
up the
Rest in peace, Reggie.
Love Reggie Roby. God, he'd kick over his head.
Yeah.
All right, enough 80 shit here. Okay. Now, things don't go well for him personally. So he's got a divorce. He eventually remarries, but I don't know the exact year. But he's going to remarry. So don't worry, love's on the horizon for Russell. I know you guys were worried about him at home right now. They're like, no, Russell, no, don't be alone, Russell, please.
Every Friday now, he's going to that high school game though and watching.
It's not going well for him. He's just personal life. you
Yeah.
know? The bonus doesn't last him quite that
No.
long. No, and he hasn't been doing much.
He's gotten 2
money-wise.
divorces.
2 divorces and been cut from 4 teams.
He's got child support.
He's got child support. He's
Right.
got issues at this
Yeah, yeah.
point in time. So
There's finances to cover.
He's got to finance Cammie's trips to the honky tonk. Let's get real here. You know what I mean? So
Happy hour only goes so long.
only goes so long, man. 1991, he files bankruptcy. This will be his first financial foray into the world of just a mess of finances. He claims assets of $6,130.
That's what he owns.
$6,130 in assets, owing creditors about $1.3 million.
Holy shit.
That's nowhere near
That doesn't add up.
$6,100. Those numbers don't add
No,
up at all.
that's not good.
He probably had a big house and nice cars. He likes it. He says later on, and it'll come up a lot, and there's reason for the rest of his life, is that he likes a jet-setting lifestyle. He says,
Who the fuck doesn't?
I don't want to live in 8 to 5, he says, lifestyle. I don't do that. I want fast cars and trips and shit
Everybody
like that.
does, dickhead.
Who doesn't? Exactly. But he really wants it bad. He wants it bad enough to fucking lie in an illegal fashion for it. Put it that way.
He'll manipulate people out of their socks to get it.
Now, this particular bankruptcy, all of his debts are forgiven by the court. So he walks away free out of this. Walks away scot-free somehow out of this.
How is
I don't
that
know
not
how that
illegal?
happened. I assume he had decent lawyers, whatever. I don't understand it. So, all right, now we're going to get into something complicated. We go through the 90s, and he gets involved with a company in the 90s. He keeps trying to figure out business and how to do things in business. He's trying to do financial deals. He's trying to. At one point, there's an entertainment complex with bowling alleys and like a miniature golf place.
Yeah.
That he's trying to build mini malls.
There are things that they call classes to learn this shit.
Absolutely. Well, he went to college.
Okay.
He's at college. He went to college for 4 years.
He could go back.
He could go back. He's not securities and shit like that. I'll get into what they do. But they need a sales guy. And if you're in Austin, Texas, and you have a guy who is a huge star at the University of Texas right at your disposal, that's the
your
guy you want.
That's the
Absolutely.
face of your company.
He's got connections with a lot of people from the University of Texas. A lot of people have gone on to be successful
Boosters,
businessmen,
people with money.
boosters,
Yeah.
alumni, people like that. He's got a lot of connections. And through the NFL, he gets a lot of connections.
Of course.
too. You know a lot of wealthy people. So this is a good guy to have around, and he's a good talker. He's, as we've heard from him, he's a slick talker. He knows how to say what he needs to
Probably
say.
has a southern accent. It's like a
He's got a Texas
and
drawl.
that Texas drawl is like a.
It's like a real plain spoken. I've listened when he
Right.
speaks. He's like, "I'm Russell Erxleben, blah 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 blah. Let me tell you something."
But it sounds like a gravel road. Like
Yeah,
it's
he
just
talks like a dumber Steve Austin. Guy. That's how he talks.
But it's
a
just
little
real
bit.
comfortable. Real
Yeah.
like a father figure.
and trustworthy.
Yeah.
He's got that accent.
what he tells you is the right thing to do.
And he's a famous guy, and he played in the NFL. He seems legit on the up and up. I've seen this guy on TV. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Basically, their said business was selling securities. This is what it says. This is what I've...
Yeah.
It's selling securities to the public in the form of investment contracts involving foreign currency. So they're basically betting on the futures of foreign currency.
I don't like this at all.
Exactly.
You're buying something you can't touch.
Absolutely.
This is fucking terrible.
And a lot of people do it. It's, you're betting on the ups and downs.
Yeah.
And this was before the euro, so this was when every country had its own currency,
Right.
and you could really kind of try to
And you got a
hedge
southern
markets.
man that's very trustworthy.
Absolutely.
Selling you shit you can't touch.
And they are going around promising investors returns of between 70 and 100% annually.
Oh, God.
If a guy gets you 6%, that guy's a fucking wizard.
Yeah.
He's a wizard. You stick by him. If he gets you 10%, you suck his dick at night. I don't care if you are a straight male. I don't care if you're an 86-year-old woman. You blow that man. 10%'s great. So I don't care. Let me tell you.
And he's selling this shit to people without a driveway, with like a dirt road that they drive to their house. And he's telling them, I'll get you double your money back.
And a lot of these people, the odd thing is a lot of these people that invested with him were savvy investors.
Really?
They were savvy investors. They just thought that this guy was hot shit. He sold himself well. He's famous. And they just
Savvy investors, and they're like, 100%? Hell yeah, boy.
They said, I want to get in on this too. Well, it's one of these things where people were like, if I can make a scam this real quick, hey, this is a good deal.
How about if it sounds too good to be true? You know what I mean?
You. That's exactly it. If it sounds, this whole episode is a lesson of if it sounds too good to be true, let me tell you something. It's not true. Run. Yeah. See Art Schleister. End of fucking story. Right there. Just see Art Schleister and his fuckery from episode 20, whatever the hell it is there. Good Lord. So 1998 now, the state of Texas and the Texas Board of Securities begin investigating AFI. Yeah. Obviously. Mm-hmm. I mean, that doesn't know.
They got wind of 100% return.
They got a tip from somebody, too. They're like, 100% returns, eh? Let's look into that.
Let's have a talk.
Yeah. So now they're investigating them all through 1998, and it starts to get a little bit heavy, and the walls are starting to close on this company at this point. They know things are happening bad, and things are going to go awry here because on September 8th, 1998,
there's a date.
Oh yeah, Russell begins making payments to company investors. Now, only investors he's paying are friends and family. Basically, he's like, this is not lasting long. I'm going to get you guys. And who knows if it's for them or if that was him investing his money through it.
Right.
We don't know. And
hold on to this.
Charges, it sounds like it was probably, he was using them as a bank, basically. Because I'm sure there's something you can't do it yourself. It has to be through some archaic financial law. Guys, this is what I mean. You have no idea. I'm a comedian, okay? This is Jimmie, you're a comedian. I'm a comic. I do a fucking podcast about true crime, and I do a lot of research and all this. I am not like a financial journalist.
No.
I do not work for the Wall Street Journal. You would need years of financial training, education, and experience to know what the fuck happened here exactly. So I am going to give you the basic broad strokes, and we're going to talk about... And guys, if there's a financial guy out there who wants to come in and tell us, don't. I don't fucking want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Well, actually, he filed Form 812C with the FCC, and you can't...
give a fuck.
Don't give a shit. Not FCC, SEC, I meant to say. I don't care, okay? No. I'm going to give you the broad strokes, and none of you fucking care either. I'm going to tell you how he was a scumbag and cheated people. That's what you want to hear. I don't think you want to hear about the paperwork and exactly what... complicated minutia of the law he broke.
He robbed Peter to pay Paul. That's what happened.
Boom. Ponzi scheme. You know what a Ponzi scheme is? Bernie Madoff? That's what he's doing.
Madoff with a lot.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
You betcha.
The people he was paying off included the Dunns. This is Leslie and Gloria Dunn. They happen to be the parents of his current wife, Kimberly. At some point he marries a woman named Kimberly here. Now, so this is his in-laws. That's one of the people he paid. Now, from September 8th to September 11th, 1998, Russell paid out over $1.2 million to family and friend investors. So himself, basically, we'll say.
Got to get that money out and make sure that it's paid to the right people.
Yes, we will launder it through them. And now you've got a Ponzi scheme and your money laundering.
You bet.
And wire fraud. And it's starting to add up.
There are lots of charges coming in.
I don't know shit about financial. I know this is bad.
That's
basically,
terrible.
He's bad. So he's scamming people. So then suddenly, On September 14th, 1998, AFI closes its doors. They just shut down. So
with all kinds of people's money.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, like, you know, it's like in one of these movies where they have a phone room and they're burning people, and they come to work one day and everything's gone.
Where's it all?
That's what it was.
Right.
It was one of those. Legal problems were mounting, and I think they just wanted to stop. September 18th, 1998, there's court proceedings in Travis County, Texas, about this in district court because they're like, it closed down, so now they're not watching them anymore. Now it's like, they stopped, we need to fucking close the trap here. Okay, let's check in with a new character here. Janet Mortensen. Okay, she is made the temporary receiver over AFI at the request of the Texas State Attorney and Securities Commissioner. Okay. Now, basically, the receiver, her job is to try to get the financial shit right. She goes in, digs through the books, figures out who took money from who needs restitution, who stole it, what can I get back? And
where's the money supposed to go?
Her job is to try to right the financial ship of everything. Not to make the company solvent again, but to make it so it's,
goes away, back to zero.
Make it so, how much money can we get back from the scam and pay out to the people who it's owed, basically, who they took it from. That's her job, okay? She has a tough job, let me tell you, because this is a fucking mess, what they did. In this case, AFI, they said to have taken over 800 investors for $36 to $50 million.
Oh, my God.
That's a shitload of money.
Oh, my God.
You know, that's a lot of money for a small-time
36 to 50.
36 to 50.
That's a $14 million gap.
Yeah, and it seems like 50. That's at first, it seems like 50 at the end. Yeah. But they quote 36 is what they know, but it seems like 50. It's an odd thing. Basically, this was a Ponzi scheme. They would send out statements showing that the people made profits. Yeah. Basically, they'd send them statements like, look how profitable. Look, we told you.
You want to keep it in there, right?
They would show you how everything worked, and they would take new investors' money and pay those people off with it. Yeah. So they get new investors in, they get that money in. This is what a Ponzi scheme does. And then they'd pay off the guy who they just told that their investment was a success with. Right. Investment wasn't a success. No. Probably never even happened.
But they're going to get that money back in because those people want to make more.
As far as they're looking at it, I'm making huge returns here. I'm not. It says on my sheet, they sent me a print. It's printed on paper.
It's here in black and white.
They took it off a computer, they hit print, and it printed out, so it's got to be true. Back then, if someone gave you a piece of paper with shit printed on it, you just believed it. Literally, if they had a printer set up enough to do that, you'd go, wow, they got their shit together. This must be real. That's exactly what happened. So anyway, they're looking at, he gets the printer. They would say that you made profit, and then they'd send you profit. You keep going with them. Right. So that keeps it in.
Or you keep bankrolling it in, which is what obviously Russell's hoping for, that he doesn't have to pay anybody out yet.
You have to keep getting more and more and more new investors so you can pay that out. It's like plate spinning, basically. You're spinning one plate, and that's starting to wobble, and shit, you better hit that because you got two more over here coming. And it's
eventually whack-a-mole. All those plates are coming down.
It's whack-a-mole. It's Lucy with the chocolates, whatever goddamn analogy you want to put on it.
Lucy with the chocolates.
That's what it is, man.
That's a good one.
It's really what it is. So... no profits actually existed was the problem. Now, Russell and the prosecutors would constantly harp on the fact that Russell used his status as a University of Texas football star and an NFL player to lure in investors as a trustworthy guy.
I trust Peyton Manning.
He's the front man.
I buy his pizza every week.
There you go. That's terrible fucking pizza, too.
I'm
Good
joking.
Lord. Yeah,
There's no way I'm eating that shit.
I would hope not, Jimmy. Jesus. You're not that white trash, are you? No offense to you, Papa
John
eaters.
But I trust him, is my point.
God, is that shit awful.
That's why Papa John's is so successful, because people trust Papa
trust him.
And they trust Peyton Manning.
They do. They go on and they go, they look like trustworthy gentlemen.
It's better ingredients. Obviously, it's better pizza.
Clearly, that's how it's got to be. So
no, it's that fucking garlic butter makes it fucking edible. That's what it is.
They give you shit to dip it in.
Right.
Here's a salt pool to dip it in. Enjoy.
It's delicious.
A buttery cup of salt.
And if it's cold, it's garbage.
Here's a shot glass of salt. Yeah, do that. So this company also, they found out, spent a lot of cash on luxury offices and, entertainment and trips and shows.
Living a jet-setting lifestyle.
Wolf of Wall Street, basically. That's what they're doing. They're having big parties. They're telling them, because these
on
people
yachts and doing coke and
these people are hustling money, so they got to keep them happy. That's what it is. Plus, they needed to live the jet-setting lifestyle. Like I said, he's not doing an 8 to 5.
No.
If he's doing some boring financial shit, he can't be an NFL player or something fancy like that. At least he's got to be on a fucking jet. He's Lenny Dykstra, goddamn.
Right.
He's Art Schleister. That's what
I
mean.
By the best.
By the best. So So many suits are filed against this company. I was finding lawsuits.
How long did it last?
The whole
Ponzi scheme?
It was about 3 years, I think. The
Wow.
whole Ponzi scheme, 2 years, 3 years. I've never looked at court documents more than I read full appeal documents, whole court things of the whole case, of documents, complaints, appeals. Insane in this shit in different states. I found one in Idaho. I was reading a complaint against them in Idaho with another guy from AFI who was scamming people in Idaho.
He canvassed the country.
It's insane.
Robbing $50 million from people. Meanwhile, he was the 11th pick.
Yeah.
And if he would have just focused on football like he focuses on fucking people over,
that would have been great.
He could have been Morton Anderson.
He could have been Morton Anderson.
Unbelievable.
But instead, he is not Morton Anderson.
He's Russell Erxleben.
He's, yeah. Yeah, he's more like Morton Downey Jr., to give an 80s reference from the time this guy played. Terrible. He's a pile of shit, this guy. And the thing is, too, like I said, they had a ton of other guys doing this. It wasn't just him on the phone all the time, but he's the president of the company, so they're doing this at his behest. This is his idea, and he's behind it. So they're saying, even when you're calling someone, you're saying,
Russell had me call you.
Exactly. Our president, so-and-so, and it works like that. So basically, April 30th, 1999, Janet Mortensen, the receiver here for the company that they appointed, issues a demand letter to the Dunns, Russell's in-laws, advising them to return the payments they received from AFI and Russell, and if they refuse, they face being added to the case as defendants next to AFI and Russell.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's hardcore. They're going to say you're involved in the Ponzi scheme because you're benefiting as much as they did. Which they are, because they were laundering money through him, basically, allegedly. So the Dunns begin negotiations with Mortensen over the amount at this point, and I think they're just stalling for time. This goes on for a couple months, because then on June 10th, 1999, the Dunns file a suit against Mortensen, and they do it in Louisiana. Okay. The original suit was filed in Texas, so they're trying to play it so, like, the Texas case gets... Basically what they're doing is they're trying to say, we're going to file this in Louisiana, so put a stay on that Texas case. Hold that while our case that we filed gets done in Louisiana.
Change the jurisdiction. They're trying to a lot of shit.
They're trying to just go over their heads, basically, and it doesn't work. Their goal was to try to get a judgment declaring that they were not obliged to return, or not obligated to return the money to AFI, basically. That whatever, if they got it out of... It was fair gains, basically. They're saying, we got returns, but they're saying, no, you can't. They can't steal $50 million from everyone else and then pay you back like they had profits. Not exactly the way business works.
And you happen to be the parents of his wife. That's not
the
fair.
other problem. Right. And Jesus, imagine the shit he's getting at home. I mean, think about that shit.
No pussy, none of that.
Federally
there is no sex happening.
They're federally up this lady's parents' asses with microscopes. Do you know the level of shit he's getting at home?
Ugh.
Imagine that.
My parents. Every conversation starts with my parents.
Be rude to your in-laws once, Jimmy. You're going to hear that shit. Now imagine you had them launder $1 million for you, and now federal prosecutors are threatening to add them onto a Ponzi scheme trial. Your fucking wife would kill you.
There's going to be a federal lien on your parents' house.
I know your wife. She would murder you for that.
I don't have to. If I took a letter out of the mailbox and it turned out to be the neighbor's mail and they wanted to federally charge me with mail theft, I'd hear about that for 5 years.
I'd hear about, Jesus, these federal charges. These
federal mail fraud. Can you
fucking wife can't even take a federal charge once in a while. What's that about? It's like, I'm a good guy. Every once in a while I get a federal charge. You got to back me up on that, sweetheart. Come on. So, anyway, the Mortensen on June 15th, this is a little few days later, 1999, Mortensen files a suit against a large group of investors that benefited that he was paying back, including the Dunns. The Dunns file now a countersuit in Texas, trying to have their case severed from the other investors,
from Russell's,
and the judge
from the other investors,
because that's another. She files a separate suit, putting them with these people, so they're in multiple suits now.
Jesus.
The judge goes with that. They take the Dunns out of the large group that she was filing suit against, and they consolidate her. They just consolidate the Dunns with the case that involves the wife, Kimberly, because they're also filing charges against her.
Oh, God.
So now his wife and his in-laws and him, he's taking the whole fucking family down.
Russell, you have fucked up, sir.
Russell,
this is worse than that punt, Russell.
This is way worse. This is worse than missing the 34-yard field goal. This is way worse. So this whole thing's going on. He has no choice. That's the thing with these financial things. When you're dealing with murder even. I mean, making a murderer. Like, there's all these evidence, but still he's like, I didn't do it. And there's people like, well, maybe he didn't do it.
Yeah.
There's just electronic transactions. You can't hide this.
I hope their family shows up to court in paper bags with the eyes cut
Oh,
out.
that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Ain't Russell's family, it says on it. Ain't Russell's family, right on the front. Bags, shaking their heads.
So good.
Embarrassed.
So good.
That's brilliant, Jimmie. I'm telling you. So he can't do anything to get out of this. I mean, like we said, this is paperwork, man. This is a different thing.
No,
this
isn't just you're the 11th pick and you're a flop.
Well, no, this isn't like a crime where, like I said, where it's like his word against yours.
Right.
There's paperwork.
There's a paper trail.
Trails and computer things.
You got this
and
asshole over
drives.
here that says that he made $300,000. You got this dick over here that says he made $1 million.
It's bad. So finally, he November 22nd, 1999, he pleads guilty to one count of conspiracy because he'd been arrested a month earlier, or he was arrested 2 months earlier. Now he pleads guilty to
one count.
They had him set up. They charged him with a lot more, but he pleads guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and one count of securities fraud.
Okay.
Basically, he was facing like 40 years in jail or something for even those. He admitted to bilking investors and giving false statements, and he admits to offering 100% returns, which is insane, and also misleading. He also misled investors about his experience in the financial world.
Yeah.
He told them he was an experienced investor that got results and had track record for years, and meanwhile,
you can't even kick a 34-yard field goal.
No,
sir.
he's pulling this out of his ass. That's what he did for them was the equivalent of a two-handed shovel pass from the 2-yard line.
Just a desperation.
Oh God, that somebody caught and
then being arrested is the interception return for a touchdown.
that somebody caught in return for a goddamn touchdown. A mess.
I'm assuming that him pleading to this he makes him think he's free and clear, but those police and federal investigators are just putting him in prison to investigate more, aren't they?
Well, yeah, he's not free and clear.
No.
We'll get into what he's got here. Also, too, an interesting thing out of this, as this is going on before he's sentenced, in April of 2000, the law firm of Locke, Liddell, and Sapp in Texas, which is a very old, very storied Dallas law firm, who represented Russell with AFI in their dealings, not in their crime, not in their criminal defense, but in their securities business shit. They are sued and agree to pay $22 million to investors for their part in the scheme because they were complicit in it. Now, the head of this particular law firm is a woman named Harriet Miers. Okay. Now, if you follow politics, you might remember her as George Bush's Supreme Court fucking pick.
Are you serious?
When John Roberts was nominated.
Are you serious?
Yes, when John Roberts got the seat.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this is who he wanted to put in. Who everybody called her Bush's cleaning lady.
Yeah.
Because it was basically like Bush's fucking.
She's making $22 million payment to people.
Yeah.
That are...
This is who he was nominating.
Brilliant pick, George.
Nice pick, George.
Yeah.
It went about as well as the rest of his presidency. That is not even political. That's just reality.
That's a terrible pick. That's a 9/11 pick. That's terrible.
Absolutely. So we go through September. This whole thing. He's not sentenced for almost a year.
Really?
In September 18th, 2000, he's finally sentenced.
How long does he get?
He's sentenced to 84 months in federal prison, which is 7 years. That's
for robbing $50 million, though?
And $1 million fine.
Okay.
And restitution in the amount of $28,056,860.99.
That's way worse than the penalty of going to prison for 8 years.
They broke out a calculator for that one.
Sir.
You don't get that total without an abacus and a calculator. One of those real big ones with numbers, with the buttons you don't even know what they do. Yeah. That shit. With like
an Asian kid.
With like a check with a line and a V, and you're like, what does that get me? I don't know what that is. It does fucking physics.
I don't know. It made a really big number right here.
Wow, that's weird. There's a lot of shit. There's a lot after the decimal.
$28,056,860.99. And 99 cents.
And 99 cents. A disaster.
Because it's a sale.
It's a sale. So he goes to exactly. This week, for only $28,056,860.99, down $1 from last week, get yourself a bottle of Jimmie Stank Juice from the condensed barbecued beef farts of 5,000 satisfied spectators.
99 cents is so
Holy
good.
shit. Yeah, they put it on sale. You know,
We're going to make a deal with you.
Listen.
We're going to make your restitution
Here's the deal.
only $28,056,860.99. You, sir, may fuck right
You
off.
find a better... Yeah, that's you, sir. That's you, sir, may fuck off. Never mind 20 years.
Yeah.
You owe $28 million.
Oh, my God.
You, sir, may fuck off. Go out and work that off.
You can find a better deal anywhere else. You may not fuck off.
Yeah, I just picture him like washing dishes, being like, how much longer do
more?
I have? What do I make? I'm making $8.10 an hour. Okay. We got that big calculator with the check with the V on it that the Indian kids use in college.
This is a steep hill I got to climb.
So the Dunn case is still hanging. Let's get back to this in a minute. The Dunns, the poor Dunns, his in-laws. 2002, the cases in Louisiana and Texas are both proceeding simultaneously.
Oh, shit.
Separate of themselves, which is
shit.
crazy. There's a trial set for May 13th in 2002 in Texas and July 23rd, 2002 in Louisiana.
Yeah.
With opposite intentions, and it's
Yeah.
the weirdest thing. So April 2nd, before any of this goes on, 2002, the Dunns filed bankruptcy
Of course
in
they
Louisiana.
did.
They're like, let me protect
that's a
myself.
great plan.
It is. Only problem is Mortensen files a motion to lift the automatic stay granted to people who file bankruptcies.
Awesome.
Because if you file bankruptcy, there's an automatic, okay, nobody can fuck with him for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you're kids and you're like wrestling around beating somebody up and they go, hey, stop, I can't breathe. And everyone goes, he means it. He can't
Let him
breathe.
get
Hey,
up.
stop, let him get
Right.
up. It's one of those. It's a break. Just, hey, let the kid breathe for a second.
Right.
But they're not going to get this breath because
They're going to keep getting tickled.
yes, on May 2nd, exactly, or rolled up in a carpet.
Right.
May 2nd, 2002, the court grants Mortensen's motion against the bankruptcy stay. Case proceeds on May 13th in Texas. The Dunns do not appear. Judge rules in favor of Mortensen. The Dunns are ordered to pay, $141,162 in exemplary damages each Dunn.
So that's double.
$282,000. $282,000 whatever, $324 each for willful and malicious retention of other investors' money. They also must pay $70,581 in actual damages, $20,536.17 in prejudgment interest on the actual damages,
Yep.
and then $30,000 for attorney's fees for Mortensen through trial.
Wow.
$20,000 if there's an appeal. It's going to cost them another $20,000 for those attorney's
Ouch.
fees in the Texas Court of Appeals, and then another $10,000 in the event of an appeal to the Texas Supreme Court.
That is so much money.
Wow, you guys fucked. You should have really vetted your son-in-law better.
No
basically.
doubt.
Don't marry that. You know they hate their daughter right now. They're
Oh,
like,
God.
nice pick, ass.
Yeah.
She always picked the assholes.
You and the Saints.
In high
couple of
school,
assholes with your picks.
She'd come home with guys with mohawks and everything else,
Right.
dirty guys.
Right.
One had a van. I don't care for that. No good. Her parents hated them. Also in Louisiana, the case filed by the Dunns against Mortensen was dismissed. So they're fucked, basically.
Oh, boy.
The Dunns got fucked. Boy, that marriage has to be rocky at this point. But they're still married, by the way,
Get
at this
out of
point.
town.
She does not divorce him while he's in prison. Does not divorce him.
She lasts 8 years while he's in prison.
While he's in prison, while her parents are just being eviscerated financially
Yeah.
and legally and everything else. Okay, 2004 comes along. Here's another scumbag. Brian Baum. He's an investor, a Forex investor, one of the AFI investors.
Gotcha.
He files a suit against Janet Mortensen, the receiver. His father, Sheldon Baum, served time with Russell, was serving time with Russell in the AFI case. He was one of the scummy investors. So Brian Baum is an attorney, Sheldon's son. He meets with Russell several times in prison trying to figure out a way to, quote, get back at Mortensen, who for what they thought were lengthy prison terms for Russell and Sheldon, the father, lengthier because of Mortensen. They think that Mortensen had it out for them.
You didn't get enough time, in my opinion.
My opinion,
$50 million?
Yeah,
Are you shitting me?
You ruined people's lives. A lot of
$50
them.
million not from a bank.
A lot of
Not from the man.
Yeah.
You didn't fuck the man. You
Yeah.
fucked so many men. You robbed
And
from
women
good
and
people.
children
Yeah.
and
You
God
robbed
knows who
from
else.
Fucking the salts of the earth Texans.
Amazing.
What a
And-
dick.
And investors who thought they were hot shit too.
And we're going
everybody.
to hold it against Mortensen.
So this Baum character here, this Brian Baum, is sanctioned by the district court for this. They're not taking any of this shit.
Right.
This guy also Baum tried to contact the media and say bad things about Mortensen. Said, quote, she was, quote, conspiring with her lawyers to embezzle money from the nearly $32 million collected. Wow. So he was saying she was collecting the money.
Yeah, she's
back,
getting a commission from
and she was taking it on her own, which, whatever. Anyway, she said she got back about 60 cents on the dollar for the people who had taken it from. That's not bad. If you got taken in a scheme,
pretty decent.
Get back 60 cents, 60%.
I'll bet you Kevin Bacon hasn't gotten that back
That's
from
not
Madoff.
bad. No, goddamn right. So now 2005, he's scheduled to get out of prison in 2005. Russell.
Okay.
So he did 5 years. He receives a package 2 weeks before his release date. Okay, he receives a package in jail. It's from one of his wife Kimberly's friends.
God, I hope there's a razor blade in it.
No, it's a package of folders and prospectus and it's paperwork and it's an investment opportunity. Okay, it is his wife's friend who is a big guy in mini malls. He was building something called Funland Park, which was some some amusement parky type whatever bullshit, something to bilk people. I don't know. But this was an investment. Funland Park.
It's just like it's the cheesiest,
bullshit,
stupidest
what do we call
fucking
it?
thing.
Just I don't know. Just say Funland and we'll figure it out later.
I don't know.
They typed it on the letterhead. They're like, we'll get it. We'll figure it out later. We'll get something better later. Funland's good for now. So
something an 8-year-old named it.
Absolutely.
That's so cheesy.
This was a package about investing in German bearer bonds.
Okay.
Now, German bearer bonds. Yeah, this is a the package was labeled, quote, the German financial time bomb.
Is this where Hitler comes in?
This is where Hitler comes in. Okay. Even Russell says later that he thought it was too good to be true. Even he says that. This asshole.
Yeah.
So, all right, basically a bearer bond, a German bearer bond. Now, have you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop, Jimmy?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember his friend who came in, who got out of jail and came in, who was living in L.A., working for the lady that he goes and sees, who runs the art gallery?
Yeah.
Mikey Tandino, okay? Mikey comes to visit Eddie Murphy, and Eddie comes in and pulls the gun on him when he's in his fridge. And he's like, "Oh, Mikey!" And they hug, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, and he opens his little briefcase, and he's like, "I got these German bearer bonds, untraceable." And Jetty's like, I don't know, man, I'm a cop, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, they put it away and they go back to their business.
Right.
That's what I think this is, okay?
Unbelievable.
I looked it up. I think they're the same thing. The fact that my only knowledge of them comes from Beverly Hills Cop.
A bullshit movie.
Where they just pulled that out of their ass as something valuable and untraceable makes me a fucking moron. But I tried. I really tried, guys.
But it makes this
Patreon.com/crime and sports, please. iTunes, give us 5 stars. Say these guys are out of their fucking minds learning about Ponzi schemes, please.
But this guy getting out of prison was like, sounds good, let's go.
Let's do this. So, 2005, 2 weeks after that, he's released from federal prison. His wife picks him up from prison. They're leaving, and as they're leaving the parking lot, the wife says to him, aren't you going to turn around and take a last look? And he said, in their own words on this, quote, I told her, no way, I am looking forward. One thing I was thinking is I was never going back there again. What do you think the odds of that are, folks? What do you think? He did one financial scheme and we're covering him on here? I don't fucking think so. Let's keep going.
I got a feeling Mikey has another thing to say about that.
A little something. Old Mikey's going to come in. I got German bear, untraceable. Axel, they're untraceable.
Foley, check a look at these.
Watch Beverly Hills Cop if you've never seen Eddie Murphy at his best.
So
anyway,
good.
so not Beverly Hills Cop 3, not 2. Fuck that. 1. Anyway, 2008 comes along. Now this starts in 2005. He starts getting into this deal with the bearer bonds. 2008, his probation officer, because he's on supervised release, obviously, because he's a scumbag, writes in a court report to the state that the state was investigating Russell at this moment for selling and trading German gold bearer bonds.
Already.
Which, he's out 3 years. He's already being invested again.
Oh, God.
On this whole deal, we have it in their own words for Russell, kind of a look inside to see kind of how he looks at things. And this explains a lot of his psyche, okay?
Here's a look at the wizard.
Here's a look at the wizard, and he's like a gnarled up little troll man.
He's a little monster.
Oh, got long fingernails. He's a disaster.
It's like Rumpelstiltskin.
God. So on this, in their own words, quote, businessmen, the way they keep score is with a bank account. If you want to play Division A, Class A of the sport, the way to do that is you got to hit a big deal. And sometimes it just doesn't work. So he's like, it's not about doing small things. I could build up this thing. No, you got to do the big shot deal. That's the only way people notice you.
Right.
Because he's got to be flashy.
Got to have flash.
He's got to be a douchebag.
Right.
Jesus Christ. So now 2009... So another thing that's going to come up later, and this one's very interesting, okay? A company called, now, Jesus Christ, I looked this up. It took me a while. This is an artist, a French artist.
Yep.
I know nothing about art, okay? I know, like, Van Gogh.
I know
I
less.
know Dick,
Yeah.
Rembrandt. I know shit about art. So I saw this name, and I'm like, how the fuck do I pronounce this? Gauguin. Gauguin. That's what it is. Gauguin.
Gauguin, okay.
Gauguin is how it's pronounced, okay? So it's the Gauguin Partners, LLC. Is called. There's a company formed in 2009.
Okay.
Gauguin Partners LLC. It's formed by two unnamed individuals who, quote, this is their deal, quote, located, their job is to, quote, locate and contract to purchase the Gauguin painting, The Sorcerer of Hiva Oa. Okay? This is a famous painting. You've probably seen it. It's like this lady, like an indigenous-looking lady standing there. You've seen the painting. It's a very famous painting. Now, Russell, keep in mind for later that he was not a part of this group in any way, shape, or form. They do not know him.
Yeah.
He is not associated with them.
But they want this painting.
They want this. That's the group,
flash
basically.
that they want to get.
Okay. He has nothing to do with these people. Let's just say that. Not associated with them in any way. He says he is, but he's not. And we'll get into how that happens. But April 30th, 2009, Elroy dies.
Oh, no.
That's sad. Poor Elroy.
Boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo. His son was a piece of shit, and now he's dead. Sorry, Elroy. I don't know what to tell you. By the way, there is no... I feel bad for this one this week because his name is Erxleben. I actually found a fucking Russell A. Erxleben. I found one.
Yeah.
But not on social media.
Okay.
That's what I found him, like, through property searches and record searches. I found, like, birth records of his son in Ohio. He lives in Ohio. And you know what? Everybody's been scammed. People have been wronged. People have money. His wife, his in-laws, everything's happened. I feel bad for all those people, Jimmy. Not as bad as I feel for Russell A. Erxleben in Ohio, who I found the birth record of his son. I don't know what he does for a living. He's not on social media, put it that way. So
but he exists somewhere.
He exists. If he's not on social media, I'm not going to break his balls because he's not putting himself out there, even though I just fucking did.
Right.
But I'm not going to say what he did for a living or whatever. It's not whatever. I'm not going to give you his address or his son's name or any of that shit. But this poor bastard has to live with this, even the same middle initial.
That's terrible.
Yeah, try to get someone to invest with something with you if you're that guy. Good luck.
Try to find anybody with that last name.
Absolutely.
That's so terrible.
So this is still going on. Everything's happening here. Now, there's a fluff piece on him, I find.
What?
On him and his son in May 13th, 2010. His son, Ryan. Remember I told you about his son, Ryan? His son, Ryan, is a freshman punter at Texas Tech.
What?
Okay. He's a punter also. Now, he's a smaller guy. He's only 6'1", 190. He's not like his dad. He was actually a really good defensive end also in high school, but obviously he's a little too small for that in college. So Russell brings his son to an ex-college punter and an old friend of his named Coach Zahner. I can't find his first name, and I didn't look that hard because everything is just Coach Zahner's this, Coach Zahner's that. Coach Zahner has a little empire of special teams coaching. He runs an instructional camp. He's one of these guys. Send your kid here for $2,000, and I'll teach him the fundamentals better.
He's like a comedy coach.
Yeah, except these guys actually get results. They actually know what they're doing. Coach Zahner, you can get him at CoachZahner.com, ZAUNER.com. Now, on his site, there's what they're trying to sell you here. Here's his mission statement. Quote, Coach Zahner teaches a natural style of kicking and punting. Renowned kicking coach offers kicking, punting, and snapping lessons in Arizona and Wisconsin on his site. So Russell takes Ryan to Zahner's camp in Scottsdale. All of these, by the way, we're in Phoenix. We're based out of Phoenix. All of these weird, like, conditioning centers, they're all here.
They all
they're
show up
all
here.
here because a lot of athletes live here in the off season. That's why.
Coach Zahner's, we'll make a kicker out of you.
We'll make a kicker out of you. Come on down. But it's like a lot of like college people that go there, and even like guys getting ready for combines go to these type of people, shit like that. Yeah, they go to like the conditioning specialists.
Okay.
And anyway, Coach Zahner writes a whole blog. There's a whole blog about how Ryan was brought in by Russell and how Ryan improved while he was there and he couldn't be happier. Also how he's known Russell forever and stories about telling who Russell is and what he did in his life. No mention of prison, mind you.
Yeah, by the way, sir, don't mention him.
Don't mention Ponzi schemes or anything like that. He has, now if you have a guy like this, what does Coach Zahner do? He has Russell do a video testimonial about how great Coach Zahner is. So if you go on there, you can watch a felon
Bilk you out of more money.
You can watch a Ponzi scheming asshole, and he doesn't seem real slick when you're watching, because he's standing there like in a field, and you can tell the guy just set up the camera and went, go. Yeah. And he's just holding a football in his hand, and he's got like a tank top on, and he's real heavy, and he's like, I'm Russell Erxleben. I play for University of Texas. I play for the Lions and the Rams and the Saints. And I'm here to tell you, man, Coach Donner, I brought my son Ryan in. And that's the whole thing. He just mumbles a 3-minute promo on this thing and just talks about how great the punting camp is. But is that the guy you want doing testimonials?
No.
You want trustworthy people doing testimonials.
Well, then again,
I don't trust
him.
him.
They did say he's trustworthy.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a very, very good point.
That's Southern voice.
It's amazing. That's what it is, man. So who the fuck would do that? Whatever they say, whatever he says about Zahner, I would think the opposite. That goes on. He posts this blog post, Zahner, in May of 2010. And so July 5th, 2010, he got a nice testimonial from this upstanding guy, this great old
trustworthy
punter,
man.
As trustworthy as they come. Solid. He's a solid citizen.
Salt of the earth.
Salt of the earth. July 5th, 2010, it is announced that Russell is under investigation for selling post-World War I era German gold bearer bonds and then not delivering on them.
Of course.
Russell calls the investigation a witch hunt, obviously. It's not him. Now, let's get
I've never done anything like this before.
Besides being the bonds that Mikey had and showed Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop, I'll get into a little bit what they are. I'm not going to go into 1,000% explicit detail because it's complicated and it's also not interesting, and I don't know that much also is the other thing, and I don't want to sound like a fucking idiot. So basically what these bearer bonds are, post-World War I, before Hitler came to power, told you there'd be a Hitler reference, before Hitler came to power, Germany would issue bonds out to people who invested in Germany because it was decimated after World War I.
Right.
And these bonds were payable in gold. That's why they're called gold bearer bonds. So you'd have a paper bond, and you would turn that in, and they'd pay you, and it'd be worth its money in gold, which is a big deal later on because gold is worth a lot. And if you have $1 million worth of gold, it's a shitload of gold and whatever. So anyway, basically that's the deal. And I guess during World War II, Hitler wasn't exactly paying these back. They're not, because U.S. investors had them.
Hitler was
a
crooked man?
Hitler's not going to pay back the bearer bonds. He said, that's the old government. That isn't my government, so I don't want any part of it. So then after the war, these bonds became kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And they're apparently, as Mikey said, untraceable and a very interesting source of revenue here.
Right.
And apparently, he's doing something crooked. We'll find out what that is in addition to the Goga tie-in as well. Right. Now, October 5th, 2012, there's a really nice fluff piece on him. This is while he's publicly under investigation and was in prison. So it's not a guy you want to do a fluff piece on. Okay, this is 2 years later. This is
Somebody's
the investigation.
Putting their credibility on the line saying this guy's got it going.
And this is 2 years later, too. Yeah. This is, it's still going. I guess they just forgot about it. It's an article on mysanantonio.com, a Texas thing, called Erxleben, or how the hell do we put? Or how do we say we pronounce it?
Erxleben?
Erxleben.
Right.
Erxleben. This fucking guy.
Same thing.
Ehrlichman, the guy that worked for Nixon. No. So Erxleben, the title of the article is Erxleben Punts Legacy to Son, which, first of all, you hacky motherfuckers, number one.
Second of all,
punts legacy.
Do you remember his punt?
Asshole.
Do they mean shovel passes legacy to his son?
Erxleben punts legacy to son. What a shitty, hacky title. That's just the lamest thing they could.
That's what I expect from mysanantonio.com.
If he was a quarterback, it would have been passes his legacy to his son. If it was if it would have been, they were chefs, it would have been cooks up a legacy for his son. They have no shame. So the article is all about Russell's son Ryan, the Texas Tech punter, and and about how his father's his biggest mentor, and how he's just invaluable, just as valuable as it comes.
You guys, it's not a good mentor.
He says that all he needs to do if he's struggling on the field is talk to his dad. That's it. And he's good. And very simple in their own words here from Russell on Ryan, he says, quote, He gets into ruts sometimes and thinks too much. Sometimes I tell him to just go out and kick it. That's the huge advice, I guess. That's his great advice. Son, go out there and kick it. All right, then. Thanks, Dad.
That's Russell Erxleben, motivational speaker. Get out there and kick it.
Kick it, son. That's his whole speech. You pay $50 to hear him say, "Get out there and kick it now." All right. Okay, then. Anybody want to buy some bearer bonds or some securities? Now, listen, now it's a 100% return guaranteed. Now,
100% return.
So, head coach of the Texas Tech team, Tommy Tuberville, which is a fantastic hillbilly coach's name. Tommy Tuberville says that Ryan's punting has been vital to their 4-0 start that season, which if your team is, a college team is dependent on the strategic punting, you're not a good team.
You're terrible.
Good college teams win 75-12, like they did when he kicked the 67-yarder. Tuberville said, quote, I probably should hire his dad on staff. When we have problems, we go to him. Russell will come up here for a weekend and watch our game, and then on Sunday he'll give him a few tips and dissect everything. Ryan works at every aspect of punting, but that's all him and his dad. They work well together.
Jesus.
I fucking wish he would have given this guy a job, because maybe then he would have not had time to rob people constantly like he's going to do here. Because let's get into this here. One little thing here. Ryan says, quote, "It's such a big advantage. He's really been the guy to take me through this, using his experience to really help me during my journey. I'm blessed to have a great dad who's been through things that I'm going through before."
Your dad's a felon.
Wait until you get arrested by federal marshals. Then you can share everything. And forget about it. You guys can share a cell.
Yeah,
for
no
Christ's
doubt.
sake. So, fuck, man. They're going to share everything. 2012, Russell is sued by an Austin, Texas man, saying that he fraudulently induced this man to buy $60,000 worth of German gold bearer bonds, supposedly worth $350,000, and they were never delivered on. Now,
here's a tip.
The guy.
Here's a tip.
Yes, this is obvious.
When somebody says, this is worth this much, give me a third of that.
A third of that?
That's not even.
That's not even a third of
like
that.
A fifth.
So you give me a fraction of it, and I'll give you something that's worth that much more.
Unbelievable amount. That's the equivalent of, I'm your cousin in Africa.
No.
Wire me 30 grand, and when I get home, I'll pay you 300.
That's like a crackhead would be like, look, I got a big check coming tomorrow from an accident I had, and I got a lawsuit.
See, they can't wire it to me because...
Yeah, if I could just if you give me like $14 right now, I'll give you like $1,500 tomorrow, okay? That work for you?
Does that sound good?
Like 14, and I'll give you $1,500. It's like 1,000 times more, but that seems reasonable, right?
Holy shit.
That's what's going on here. So this fluff piece is all around, and then the lawsuit, and then January 2013, he's arrested. January 24, 2013, he is arrested. Good. This is after years of fluff pieces, and he was ready to, in October, old Tommy Tuberville,
ready to give him the key to Tuberville.
Ready to give key to Tuberville. Exactly. He's ready to put him on the staff and unleash him on all of his kids. Yeah. Hey, kid, what do you got? Money for books this semester? What do you think about it? You ever hear of German gold bearer bonds? Anything like
Untraceable,
that?
Kid.
Untraceable. He's taking tuition money out of these kids' pockets. Fucking dorm.
Heard you got a Pell Grant.
What do you got for food and room and board there, guy? Let's get into this. He is charged with 5 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of securities fraud, and 2 counts of money laundering.
Oh, boy.
He faces up to 140 years in prison for this little fucking escapade that he's been doing.
Whoa.
Now, at this point, Jesus Christ, things have to be feeling bad for him. He's got to be down.
I'm trying to process
140 years.
My God.
140
in
years.
Texas.
In Texas.
In
It's
prison.
federal.
It's a federal prison.
It's all standard and federal. But you're still looking out the window and seeing Texas.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, Texas.
No good.
It is not nice to look out the window. Hey, look, flat dirt. This is great.
Think it'll change tomorrow?
Yeah. UK, no equivalent. Australia, the whole middle of your country's Texas. Just look out there. That's Texas.
Yeah.
It's probably about the same fucking
indigenous
size,
people.
Too. Actually, Australia's huge, but still.
Right.
Okay. So at this point, 140 years in prison, you need something to take the edge off. Some shawarma. Some shawarma, maybe.
Eat, some snacks.
Maybe he sees the shawarma man and he says to him, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Huh? Why are you here? What's wrong with you, man? You have NFL career. They give you hundreds, thousands of dollars, they give to you. They give to you. But right up front, they give to you. You have crooked agent. You kick ball like shit. You kick ball like shit. They still give to you. You come, you get out of prison.
You kick like shit of dog.
Wife wait for you with pussy. Do you understand? She pick you up. You say you no go back, then you do that. Why? I give you money from shawarma stand for bearer bonds. You say worth 10 times as much. Shawarma man get nothing. You say you have money, then you no give to us. Like Dave Meggett's rape victim with her apartment. Same thing. Why you do that? Why? Sign say closed. You come anyway, you take my money. Why? Sign say closed.
You say you have money, you no
give to us. I no make shawarma for you now. No, you get no shawarma. I no make for you. No. Okay? No, you I no like. You go, sign say closed.
I'm trying to breathe.
Go. Shawarma man get nothing. So now that you're all really rooting for him, he took the shawarma man for money. Now let's crime and sports universe, crime and sports movement. Let's get behind bucket of fuckabouts, as you've decided that you like to be called on Twitter, which is insane. Which is why I love you fucking people, because you're crazy.
Fuckabouts.
So this 2013 case, the prosecutors claim he's been running a Ponzi scheme since 2005. Yes.
Wow.
Interesting. The prosecutor, Robert
They just caught on?
They've been building evidence,
right.
While he's been bilking people, too. Thanks, people. Imagine you got the money taken from you while there was an investigation going on. Like, hey, thanks for stopping him from doing that to me. Jesus Christ. I'd be like,
I'm destitute.
Let's watch this serial killer and make sure he kills 5-6 more women. Thanks for doing that. So, Robert Elder, the prosecutor, said he devised a scheme to solicit money from individuals, quote, by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. No shit. That sounds right up his alley, doesn't it? He was saying he's going to, exact same thing, Ponzi scheme, paying back the old investors with new investors.
Robbing Peter, play Paul.
Prosecutors say he planned to package bonds into an asset-backed security and market them to institutional investors. This is some complicated financial shit. He was going to package everything up in a big bullshit stew and try to fucking sell it to...
Alleged bullshit
I
stew.
assume try to sell it to people who have like 401ks and big,
you can borrow,
big pools of
You can
shit.
borrow against that. And
institutional investors, which would be your pension funds and that sort of shit, I would think, basically. So they say that he promised, quote, 100% or greater returns for up to 30 years.
Unbelievable.
So that's full of shit.
30 years?
If you are that greedy where you think that's real, you deserve to be taken. I'm sorry.
You're talking about... If you're telling somebody, you give me $50, it's going to just keep going
forever
for 30 years.
Keep giving me money too.
Right.
Russell, he's represented by a public defender this time, though, named David Peterson, who doesn't even sound like a good silver-haired middle-aged white man. He sounds like a guy with papers falling out of his briefcase. He sounds like he looks like Bernie Sanders, but doesn't quite have his shit together as much. You know what I mean?
He fumbles into the office.
Fumbles. He's like, oh, God, I'm sorry. It's like a tuna sandwich falls out of his briefcase. Like, oh, my lunch. Oh, no.
And that's all.
That's all he's got, and like some papers that are blank. He's like, I don't know what happened.
I have these to draw pictures.
He's just got packing peanuts. Why does he have those? Who knows? So Elder, the prosecutor, said, quote, in his currency scam, a big part of it was his connection with investors due to his being a University of Texas football player. That's exactly what he did it again. He does the same shit.
You bet.
Now, the Gauguin thing, the painting. Remember, he's not. There was that group that he's not a part of, not associated with, that he claims to be. He's not being a part of it. Didn't stop him from using the company's name to solicit money from investors to get money to do what he called to authenticate the painting. Basically, he was doing this. He collected over $2 million from people.
A painting that he has nothing to do with.
Nothing. Claiming that the painting was worth $58 million.
Wow.
And what they were doing, they said the total authentication process was $75,000, $50,000 up front they needed, so he'd get $50,000 from people.
Wow.
And what he was telling them is, you're buying a piece of this painting.
Right.
You're buying into this investment group of this painting, and then we're going to sell it for $58 million, and then your $50,000 is going to be, $500,000. That's the thing. It's a 10 times return. This is bullshit that he's telling
What a
these people.
dickhole.
Exactly. And people are like, oh, it sounds great. So they're just as fucking stupid.
It's probably too good to be true.
Probably too good to be true. So the investors were told, all this shit, and it turns out this painting, which, by the way, is from 1902, is actually in the collection of the Modern Museum of Modern Museum of Art in Belgium. Okay, they say that the painting is a quote inalienable public property that they say they're not in negotiations to sell and would never sell it for any price at any time to anyone
Ever.
It's owned by Belgium.
Right.
Period. The people own it. They're not getting rid of it. That they're not having a yard sale in Belgium. Basically. They're just not. And maybe if there's hard times come to Belgium, they might start selling the Gauguins, but
and
not
this
now.
is in 2015 or 2012?
13.
You could Google that.
Yeah, well,
you dumb
2010,
fucks.
2011. He was doing it for a couple of years.
Somebody could have
So
Googled that.
they just trusted him. So at September 2013, it's like a bond hearing type of detention hearing. Russell has his request to be released on bond reviewed. The court stated that it wanted to, wait a second, it wanted to examine, quote, whether there were any combination of conditions that could keep Erxleben from breaking the law while under supervised release. They're like, is there anything? Can we put him in the Hannibal Lecter mask and on a fucking gurney and we'll just bring
that's a straight jacket?
He'll probably still be like, you got what do you think of bearer bonds? You know anything? I got a securities deal. It's great. It's a good deal. I'm telling you. Telling you, 20 grand now, going to get you 106 months, buddy.
There's somebody wheeling him around at all times. There was a chance that he could get in their ear.
And he's saying, the prosecutor here, Elder, says about Russell, quote, that he had, quote, no qualms about getting others to do his bidding. He could be a danger if out on bond. He manipulates people. He manipulates them with fear. He manipulates them with guilt. He manipulates them with promises.
How must it feel
Enough
to be
said.
his kid?
Like shit, actually. And we'll get a quote from Ryan on this whole thing, too. December 23rd, 2013, Russell agrees to plead guilty to a single count of wire fraud and a single count of money laundering. He's played this game. He doesn't want to go to jail for 140 years.
Yeah, no doubt.
The agreement is for 90 months in jail. Again, about a 7.5-year sentence there. Pending judicial approval, pending if the judge says it's okay. So February 24th, 2013, 2 months later, Russell sentenced to 90 months in prison. Also after that, he is required to have 3 years of supervised release, which a lot of good that did last time. He was selling bearer bonds the day after he got out of jail, and restitution of over $2 million. In addition to, he still owes $28 million. They still want that money, by the way, so he still owes that $28,60,183.99, whatever the fuck it was. But so he owes that on top of this now. So, I mean, it's a mess.
What an astronomical number.
So now he owes about $30 million, 31 if you add in the plus there's interest, I'm sure. He probably owes $50 million by now. He's in jail for 7 years. He's completely fucked. There's an article on June 7th, 2014 called Back in Prison, Russell sees himself more victim than con man. No, you're not. He claims he was the subject of selective prosecution. He's a complete asshole, basically.
People are victims of you dick. Oh, stop it.
Never comes up once.
Stop stealing from people.
He's the victim, though. That's the thing, Jimmy. He's the victim. Everyone's out to get him.
Unbelievable.
Everyone. That long snapper did that on purpose.
Yeah.
He did that to fuck him over. Don't you understand, Jimmy? It's a conspiracy.
Holy
shit.
His
son Ryan said of his dad in prison, quote, God is working on him. Hopefully my dad can learn from this and come out a better man.
Ryan, you're a sweetheart.
He's a sweet kid. He's like, I've been through a lot. He was in prison most of my childhood.
Yeah, and now he's going to be in prison most of my young adult years.
Fuck it. So we have an in their own words on this deal, and he mentions a couple of names of people who he was involved with in the scheme that I didn't get into because we would have been here for 4 hours if I got into everybody involved in the Ponzi scheme. So here's these guys in the beginning. They're members of his Ponzi scheme.
Okay.
In their own words on the prosecution, quote, if Weston and Penley would have done what they represented, I would not be where I am today. I honestly felt this bond deal was going to change people's lives. Plus, it was going to put Russell back on top, and that was important to Russell 9 years ago. Is it important now? Not as much. That was important to Russell 9 years ago.
Third-person shit.
He went full Ricky Henderson with that shit, though. That was ridiculous.
Does Russell?
Plus, was that going to put Russell on top? Was that important to Russell? Are you out of your fucking
Holy
mind?
shit.
You're in prison, asshole.
Unbelievable.
So
he said that in a striped shirt. You know what I mean? He said that in black and white stripes.
He's unreal. In the third person. That's how cocky he is. What do you think he's going to do when he gets out? You think he's going to go get a fucking job somewhere? Or do you think he's going to start...
He's going to rob people
no,
again.
he's going to... I think he's going to get
His job's going to be to rob people again.
I think he's going to get a nice job, something real simple, get in like a Home Depot. He can work in like the drywall aisle, help people out. No, he's going to go out and steal everything that's not fucking nailed down.
He's going to find some more bonds to sell.
So August 20th, 2015, he's named to the 75th anniversary All-America All-Time Team by the Football Writers Association of America. He's the second team kicker on that team, so they're honoring him. Now, I found something that's hilarious here. Now, I have no fucking idea if this person has anything to do with Russell or if he's in his family somewhere, but I hope so because it's amazing. It is from a website called Jeff. I can't even get it out, and I can't. It is from a website called...
I had to give you that one.
JeffErxlebenSucks.com.
What?
That's his name. That's the website. JeffErxlebenSucks.com. It is a website put up by a contractor claiming that Jeff Erxleben and his wife, Katie Erxleben, bankrupted the contracting company by not paying about $140,000 for the completion of their 6,000 square foot home. Not sure.
Wasn't his ex-wife's name Katie?
No, it was Kimberly.
Oh, Kimberly.
They had it's his current wife,
though.
Carrie.
Carrie, that's right.
Or Kari, whatever. Mm-hmm. So in this it says, quote, Jeff utilized his knowledge of real estate financing to take advantage of our naivete and neighborly niceness. He changed our contract to suit only his interests, avoiding his wife signing it. He bankrupted our company. Who the fuck does that sound like? He's related to him somewhere. That shit runs in the family.
What if he just changed his first name and just ruined them?
Amazing. Now, there is another... I saved this, Jimmy. I feel bad for it because there's another guy. I know he's not out of prison yet. He can't be, right?
No.
He can't be out of prison yet.
He's got 7 years or 5 years to go.
Maybe 4, I don't know. Because on August 20th and 21st, 2016, at the Mohawk Days Horse Show at the Great Southwest Equestrian Center in Katy, Texas. It's in Texas. There's a horse show there and with jumping horses and shit. And they named all the judges. And listed as a judge... For both days of this competition, as a judge from Simonton, Texas, is Russell Erxleben.
What?
Abso-fucking-lutely Russell Erxleben.
Was there.
So I don't know if there's another Russell Erxleben. Maybe the guy from Ohio is now in Katy, Texas, judging horse shows.
Maybe so.
Or they let this fucking guy out of prison. Didn't tell anybody because I didn't see a release date anyway to judge a fucking horse show. I don't know what happened, but some poor bastard judging a horse show. No one wants to sit near that guy. They all have their hands on their wallet. And if you cannot get enough of Russell Erxleben and you want to get a nice picture of him, you can get one with a good player. It's Earl Campbell and Russell Erxleben together because they both played for the University of Texas. It's an autograph page from a magazine on Amazon.com. It's $39 plus $4.99 shipping, so it's a little pricey.
Thank God for Earl being in that picture.
But Earl Campbell's on it, so it's pretty cool. But it's a big picture of Earl and then like this little couple of Russell down the side. Earl's signature's all big and Russell's is like small in the corner. It's perfect for that shit.
A little scribble.
That's Russell Erxleben, and what a complete...
He's in prison. That's good news.
Thank God. I hope he stays there. You, sir, may fuck off and
keep fucking off.
Pay $31 million back, you asshole. That's the other thing. Stop stealing from people. Ryan, I'm very sorry for your plight.
If anybody friends you on Facebook named Russell Erxleben, do not give any money.
Don't take it.
There's no cash.
No, especially if he gives you the old fucking, hey, $60,000, I'll get you $350 in bonds. I don't think so, buddy.
I'm good.
Luckily, I don't have anything to invest in the bond market, so no one's bothering me for it. But good God, that's Russell here. We're gonna do some shout outs quick. Because we had a lot of iTunes reviews this week that were great, and a lot of great interaction with people.
Those are so big. Please
thank you, guys. Honestly, the best way you can help us out is with these. Buy our sponsors stuff too, but iTunes reviews really, really help us out. They help drive us up the charts, which gets us better sponsors, which it just helps us so much.
Yeah.
please, if you like us, that's what you can do. Give us 5 stars. Tell us your following instructions. Give us some inside shit that you want to do. Doesn't matter, whatever. We just love you for it. Also, if you want to get some shout-outs, follow us on social media. Twitter, at Crime and Sports on Twitter. Facebook.com/Crime and Sports. We're at Crime and Sports on Instagram.
That's
now.
right.
Check us out there if you want to drop us
That's
a line.
all new this week.
crimeandsports@gmail.com.
There you
Basically, any format, if you type Crime and Sports in, you'll find us somewhere.
You'll find us.
Follow us. We interact. Everybody gets along. People are friends with each other on there. We have such a great time
So
with that.
fun.
It's a little community. We
I'm
really
really
love
enjoying
it.
that.
And guys, thank you for spreading the word.
Yes.
Just doing this, we're getting our listenerships going up so much, and it's due to you guys. We're comics, we're not journalists. We still don't have a network.
is far beyond
not
the
that we're
people
really
that we
looking
know.
for a network
Yeah,
at this point,
right.
because you guys have done a great job for us of spreading this, the Crime and Sports movement.
It's like a wildfire.
We love you for it, and if you really want to throw us a few bucks, which God, I can't tell you how much that helps us out. Please go to patreon.com/Crime and Sports. We have little rewards to give, and there's some cool stuff on there, and it just helps us out a ton. And
Tremendously.
We've got an extra special shout out, and honestly, a fucking hand job for me if I see it. Thank you. I'm a cheap
Susan
date.
Wooten and Jacqueline Roberson Collins did that this week. So
Thank you guys.
both very, very
We
much.
love you guys. Thank you.
Real quickly to Fuller and Wooten, the meme makers
They're
on
the
Twitter.
best. I love those guys.
And then our fuckabouts, that's their nickname.
That's what they've decided. Yeah, if we had the 4 horsemen. It got too big. We needed a full bucket.
They call themselves the bucket of fuckabouts.
So, hey,
there's Monge, Webbetter,
salute.
Busby, Sean.
Salute, fuckabouts.
Salute, and the good Rev. And then, so this week, I
good
got
Reverend.
a package on my doorstep from Busby in Australia.
Yes.
And he found a man named Trent Duffy. He goes, his
Thank
name is
you,
Trent
guys.
Duffy, artistic one on Facebook. If you look at his Facebook page, look at
Amazing.
the amazing things he makes.
He's a great artist.
Busby
It's awesome.
sent us 2 American footballs that are done in original Australian, native Australian
They're not even
artwork.
weirdly shaped
No.
Australian rules
No,
footballs.
they're legit
real,
Wilson footballs.
legit American footballs.
And they're dot paintings, and they're
They're
gorgeous.
amazing.
They're absolutely
and thank
amazing.
you, Busby. Thank you,
Yeah.
Trent. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
guys.
Trent.
We love that stuff. Goes right in our studio,
Yeah.
and we proudly display
Yeah,
it right
and I
next to
stare
our
at
Jimmie
it
Snuka and our
As we talk shit about
Stanley Wilson
some
picture.
asshole.
Thank you also to Eric out there for sending the Stanley Wilson picture
Yeah.
to us too. We got a nice Stanley
Eric
Wilson
in New
picture.
York. Thanks,
man. We love you. Appreciate
And
it,
then
brother.
Donnie Munsell. I believe you know that guy.
Donnie
He's a
Munsell. I ran into Donnie Munsell last night. Actually, I was opening for Natasha Leggero at Stand Up Live
Yeah.
downtown Phoenix, and he comes out and he's like, "Hey, I'm Donnie," and I'm like, I knew I kind of whatever, and he's like, "I love the show. I love Crime and Sports," and I'm like, "What's your last name?" Munsell. I'm like, "Hey, I love you, dude. Thank you." You came. So
He's
he
been listening
said,
since episode 1.
since
So
episode
thanks,
1, he
man.
told me that, and
Yeah.
we can't thank you enough, man. And he just came and saw the show last night too.
At Kerrigan
Thanks, brother.
Bro, and then we have our new...
Yeah, him too.
We
Thanks.
have a
Lot
new
of-
girl named Kristen Hess that's listening.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Kristen.
Heather Steck-Yeaton, Tilly Teapot, whatever that is.
Yeah, thank
that's
you for following
fascinating. Yeah. Miguel Rico, Luana Sharon, John Royce in England, Jackson
Yeah.
Bickle, and a comic that travels around. He's from Phoenix, and then he moved to Chicago, and now he's like touring. And he messaged us and let us know Ryan Thorson is listening to the show.
okay.
It's kind
Cool.
of fascinating.
Awesome.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's a Ryan. So there's
Another Ryan. Poor Ryan. Hopefully his dad isn't in prison for federal securities fraud. Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope he wasn't trying to bilk the investors, probably, and the German government out of anything. By the way, the German government's now saying they're not going to pay back the bearer bonds in gold. This as of about 2010, they started saying, "Hey, fuck this." I looked up a lot on German bearer
So they're
bonds.
even not even paying the
No,
legit ones back.
Jesus Christ, guys! Between the Ponzi schemes and the bearer bonds, I know I want to I literally want to just drill a hole in my head and drain everything I've just learned out of it because I don't need this information,
Right.
and it's going to push out valuable shit that I do need, like
Your kid's birthday or
references to Beverly Hills Cop and Dudley getting diddled on different strokes and things like that. I need that shit for the show, so let's keep it going. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Please join us again next week. Tell your friends, Crime and Sports Movement. It's going.
Yeah. You can
Let's
see
get
me
the
at,
we want to do social media also too.
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and fucking Snapchat. And you can see me at the Tempe Improv Thanksgiving weekend, November 20...
Who knows?
Whatever
Whenever
it
the
is.
fuck Thanksgiving
Look
is.
it up.
Yeah,
With
you'll know
Adam
when it
Rice.
is.
He's fantastic, so come out.
Come out and see Jimmie out there. That's going to be a good show. Do that, and otherwise, Thank you guys so much. I'm at Jimmie P is funny, by the way. All that shit there on all the formats you can find me. Try to spell my last name. Good luck.
Dare ya.
Dare you to. And if you can, hey, I'll friend you. Let's do it. All right. Friend me and call me a cunt.
There
Let's
it
do
is.
it. That's the other catchphrase we have there. And so.